specific questions, you better have those specific answers. The news is not about giving a report. They're about opinionated, and if they can drive, the media today is more about creating news.
Thanks, Tom, man. Appreciate it. I do apologize. I thought you were done. Kim is up next in North Carolina. Hello, Kim.
Hey, Paul. How are you doing today?
I'm doing great. Thank you very much.
What I wanted to talk about today is the way that it's sad to see how people are acting. I'm not prejudiced. I played college basketball, and I was the only white player on the team. But I'm not going to talk about that. I'm going to talk about what I am today. I'm a evangelist missionary. And the only way we're going to change is to get love in our hearts. And the only way anybody changes is to get the Lord in their life, because he's the only one that can change our hearts. It's all about attitude, too. And if I could, closing, Paul, could I say a prayer for our nation on your show?
Of course.
Dear Heavenly Father, I thank you for Paul and his show and what he does for so many people. So, Lord, I just ask that you bless them. Lord, I pray that in our nation today that we let the Lord work in our hearts and love, as Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. And not look at what color people are, because God created us all. And we thank you. In Christ's name I pray. Amen.
Thanks, Kim.
Thank you, Paul, for letting me share.
Thank you. You be well, my friend. We are up against a break. Much more to come in the final hour and 15 minutes. We'll be right back.
An auto policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. My agent's gonna help me.
For more coverage, visit statefarm.com.
There may be no games,
no practices,
no high fives.
but we're all still part of a team,
and we all have a role to play. Right now, that means keeping our distance,
but still checking on each other,
helping the most vulnerable,
and supporting our heroes
that are keeping us safe.
Sports may be paused,
but the best parts
are needed now more than ever.
So let's all do our part to help our team
right now.
Hashtag One Team ESPN.
Your ESPN Pensacola Sports Headline, I'm JP. Major League Baseball made an updated proposal for its 2020 MLB season to its players union on Monday. They are moving to have a 76-game season with players getting 75% of their prorated salary. That includes eliminating draft pick compensation for free agents for a year, a $200 million postseason pool for the players, and a postseason that ends no later than October 31st. How likely are the players to accept the 76-game proposal with prorated salary proposed? I wouldn't bet on it, especially with the playoff caveat that would lower the amount if no postseason is played. The no draft pick compensation is a nice carrot, but that's all it is. The players aren't making that much more from their 50-game possibility that exists. In order to kick off the college football season on time, coaches throughout the country could begin working with their players as soon as July 6th, and required meetings and walkthroughs could start in mid-July if a proposed 6-week practice plan is approved by the NCAA later this month. The NCAA Division I Football Oversight Committee will finalize a draft of the long-awaited plan Thursday, but it has to be approved by the NCAA Division I Council at its next meeting on June 17th. The color-coded draft obtained by ESPN on Monday was circulated throughout conferences so schools could solicit feedback. Todd Berry, the executive director of American Football Coaches Association, was on last week's Football Oversight teleconference and said most of the coaches he has talked to support the plan, which includes a 2-week period for coach-supervised walkthroughs and meetings. And the starting lineup for Wednesday's Blue Emu Maximum Pain Relief 500 NASCAR Cup Series race at Martinsville Speedway at 6 o'clock on FS1 has been set. Ryan Blaney will start from the pole position with Eric Almirola joining him on the front row to lead the field to green for the 500-lap race. 3, 4, and 5 on the starting grid will be Joey Logano, Clint Boyer, and Martin Truex Jr. The lineup for the race was determined by a random draw. And for your ESPN Pensacola Sports Headlines, I'm JP. Nick Saban has a message for us regarding the coronavirus.
First of all, I hope this message finds you and your family safe and well. On behalf of our program, we want to give thanks to all the medical professionals and caregivers in our state and across the country in these challenging times. Our daily routines have changed dramatically over these past weeks. As we have said to our team, we share the same message to all of you. Please understand the following guidelines of social distancing. We ask that everyone please wash your hands often. Stay at home if at all possible. And when you have to be out in public, make sure you keep 6 feet between you and the nearest person. We are in this together, and as one team, we will get through these difficult times. And together, we look forward to all that's to come, like the opportunity to play college football this fall. But the best and safest way to ensure that happens is to listen to the experts, follow their guidelines, and take care of each other. Stay safe and roll Tide.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Hear ye, hear ye. I bringeth thee a message from... a message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom... Oh, dilly dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
Get your podcasts.
Welcome back to the program, and really glad you're here on what's been really quite a program. Glad you're with us. So let's keep going. And Ken is in Memphis, Tennessee. Hello, Ken. Good afternoon.
Hey, Paul. How are you?
I'm doing great. Thank you for calling.
Hey, I just want to, I know you're from Memphis. I was born and raised here also. I was a kid during the 60s. I know what went on, during that time period. Moved away for a little while, came back in 74, been here ever since. We, too, lived in Frazier from the middle 60s to the early 80s. I did. Graduated from Frazier High School.
Sure.
Had good black friends in Frazier High School. Graduated in 78. Went to work 2 weeks after I graduated. Been working ever since. I worked for the major employer here in Memphis, and you know who that is.
Of course.
And the thing is, I don't understand why they say that we owe them anything, because I agree with some of what our man said. I have worked for everything I have. Nobody has given me anything. The company I work for has job fairs every so often trying people to come to work, at this company. They've just started, they came up and they have started a $1.3 billion project to sort the packages at night because they can't get enough people to come to work there. It's not to do away with anybody's job. It's just to help, sort the packages at night, because on any given night, there are 1,000 people short for sorting the packages. They send 3 buses a night out to bring people into Memphis to work these jobs, one bus of which goes to Clarksdale, Mississippi, and I know you know all about that town also. It's one of the poorest in the state of Mississippi. But these people are busting every night to work these jobs, and then they're taken home again at the end of the night. These jobs are unlike any other part-time job you could have because you're paid a good wage. You only work about 20 hours a week, but yet you have full-time medical and dental benefits. The issue, that I have is these jobs are available, and why Memphians don't try to fill these positions is beyond me. I mean, to only have to work 20 hours a night and have full medical and dental benefits is beyond me. Why you would not want a job like that? I have been to the Civil Rights Museum 3 times. It's a great place to go to understand what has happened through the history, of our country. The thing that gets me is we had 3 or 4 murders this past weekend. It wasn't white on white crime. It wasn't black on white crime. It was black on black crime. I don't understand why Jesse Jackson, Al Sharpton, all these people come to Memphis and all they want to do is go to the Civil Rights Museum and, talk about civil rights. They don't ever come here to talk about the black on black issues or anything like that, and it just behooves me that they don't do that. The crime rate, the murder rate in the city of Memphis, I believe last year was upward 500, okay, and 99% of that was black on black crime. Why do these people not come here and try to address those issues instead of like I-Man and the guy from North Carolina talked about the statues? Why is that a bigger concern to have those removed than it is to try to settle the issues that they have amongst themselves? I have great black friends I work with. We kid each other all the time. I hold what they call a first step in management, frontline management position. I have my black coworkers, Hispanic coworkers, white coworkers call me sir when I ask them a question, and I tell them all the time, I don't want to be called sir because I am no better than they are.
Ken, I hate to jump in, but we are absolutely out of time. But thank you for sharing that. We will react to all of that when we come back after this.
Call Feinbaum now, 855-242-7285. That's 855-242-PAUL. This is the Paul Feinbaum Show.
It's time for some straight talk. Even though most live sports are on hold now, big wireless companies haven't stopped playing games. They're always trying to lock you into overpriced contracts. With Straight Talk Wireless, there are no contracts. It runs on America's best network, same as the big carriers, but you save up to 50%. $45 a month gets you the unlimited plan with 25 gigs of high-speed data, then 2G. You might miss sports, but don't play games, you'll lose. Straight Talk Wireless. No contracts, no compromise.
Savings may vary. See terms and conditions at straighttalk.com.
Introducing a new podcast, ESPN Daily, hosted by me, Mina Kimes. When you want to go beyond your feed, when you want to get inside the score, when you want to get behind the highlight, there's ESPN Daily. Go deeper into the stories of the moment. Get the exclusive access and insider perspective that only ESPN can give you. The best sports story all day, 20 minutes a day, 5 days a week. ESPN Daily. Listen wherever you get your podcasts.
For your Gulf Coast Sports Minute, I'm JP. Great news for high school football as well as other sports as Florida Governor Ron DeSantis seems confident we will have a full season. This is so important for our kids, particularly those that are going to be seniors, DeSantis said. They need to be playing. I'm convinced it'll be something that is safe to do. We should absolutely assume a full high school football season. On the heels of that statement, Escambia County School District Superintendent Malcolm Thomas announced that high school student athletes can begin summer conditioning June 15th. In our recruiting spotlight this week, JoJo Blackman, senior wide receiver for the Escambia Gators. Blackman's route running is second to none, and his moves in the open field can be absolutely stunning. The 3-star prospect is ranked as the 90th recruit in Florida. Last year, Blackman had 49 receptions for almost 900 yards and 12 touchdowns. He has 11 offers, which include Kentucky, Tennessee, and Troy, just to name a few. If you get a chance to catch him on Friday night this season, you won't be sorry. This young man can flat out ball. That's your Gulf Coast Sports Minute. I'm JP.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
You can imagine how happy we all were. My wife, our 3 kids, and I have found the perfect apartment to rent.
My school is right down the block?
Yes, it is.
Mommy, can we go to the park anytime we want?
Anytime we want.
So you can imagine trying to answer all their questions after the landlord turned us down.
What happened? Why can't we live there?
Why not, Papa?
What was I going to say? The landlord doesn't want families with kids in his building? We made a call to HUD and found out that being denied because we have kids is illegal. We got answers. We got help.
And we got the apartment.
If you think you've been discriminated against because of your familial status, race, color, religion, national origin, sex, or disability, call the HUD hotline, 1-800-669-9777, or go to hud.gov/fairhousing. File a complaint. Make something happen.
Fair housing is your right. Use it.
A public service message from the U.S. Department of Housing and Urban Development in partnership with the National Fair Housing Alliance.
Are you paying too much for term life insurance? There's a tremendous price war among the major term life companies, and rates have dropped dramatically in the past few years. For example, for a man age 45 non-tobacco user, it's $1 million of coverage at $75 per month, level rate for the next 10 years. Or a man age 50 non-tobacco user can obtain $500,000 of coverage for a monthly premium of only $110 per month, guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. That's right, level rate guaranteed not to change for the next 20 years. If you're a smoker, we have great rates available for you as well. At Term Busters, we specialize in policies of $500,000 and above. If you're looking for a new or replacement term life insurance, call today for a quote at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. You're probably paying more than you should. Call Term Busters at 1-866-929-1950. That's 1-866-929-1950. Remember, 1-866-929-1950. Rates and availability may vary by state. Sample rate quotes for preferred non-tobacco underwriting. Exam required to qualify.
Here are the ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM 99.1 FM contest rules. You can win one prize per household per contest in any 30-day period, unless specified by individual contest rules. All prizes are non-transferable, non-redeemable for cash, or exchangeable for any other contest prize. Prizes must be redeemed within a 30-day period of winning and must be 18 years of age or older to win. For a complete list of rules, visit ESPNpensacola.com.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen. Coming up on the Sports Drive, we'll get into more on Major League Baseball's, proposed idea number 55. And we'll also take a look here with Father's Day coming around the corner, a chance to win a pretty special gift.
Emmett Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Ball's been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba. Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner, Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome into the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Happy Tuesday. I think that's what day it is. Things getting back to a little bit normal. Feels hot. Rain's starting to die down a little. And people are out there driving like crazies on Davis Highway into work again. So, I mean, life's seeming to get back to a little bit of what we are used to. But then you turn on the news and things are still not back to normal. I think there's some funny memes out there, and at this point I hope everybody can laugh over the little things, but you know, the guys out there being like, is this the halftime show from the coronavirus? Are we in the halftime show right now? Are we like taking a quick timeout, 2-minute timeout? Coach is challenging it, got the head under the flaps, checking it out. Because honestly, I mean, from a sports standpoint, and at this point if you're listening to this show, you're probably a little biased towards sports. You're watching things happen. And nobody can come to agreement on a lot of terms. And then those arguments back in April that a lot of the owners, well, I don't know if we are even going to be able to do this in the spring. Now you see a lot of people like the stories yesterday, which should have been bigger to me, when they said it really doesn't spread with asymptomatic to the point of this should be huge news. This should be those 50% off drinks, 2-for-1 margaritas that are flown on that beach plane where you're sitting there getting a nice raccoon tan and you're like, man, that's pretty cool right there. Look at that. 2-for-1 drinks. You know that plane that you pay a lot for, that advertisement. Half off crab legs. They should do that everywhere. Have like 50 of these planes. Get a workforce. I bet there's plenty of people they can find to do it. Fly them all over, man. If you got it, but you're really not spreading it. People need to understand these things so we can get back to our everyday workforce. Who knows what to believe? But all we know is that it's an optimistic sign from where we were a couple months ago when Rudy Gobert hugged a couple kids and we thought chaos was going to be for the next 2 years. I look right now at everything going on in the world of sports, and one thing we need to understand, though, is that if you talk about Colin Kaepernick and the job, we understand he's one of the better quarterbacks. Cash it or smash it, though, as JP joins us here on such a kind note as always. Our good friend, you can hear him on Talk Football with Coach K each and every afternoon from 5 to 7. Well, cash or smash it. Kaepernick will be playing.
12-1.
12-1. And then 5 to 7.
5 to 7. Okay.
Just mixed up the shows. You're on 12-1. Who's, like I said, I'm not 100% it's Tuesday, but will Kaepernick be in a NFL jersey? Not like one at home watching TiVo.
Here's my thing on this. Will he? I don't know. I don't know where we're going to go with this, but it comes down to this. If everybody's saying, well, if Goodell means that he needs to get him a job, well, Goodell doesn't have control over that. Let's make that very clear. And it's sad to hear people on ESPN say that because these people are supposed to understand how this works. Goodell is nothing but purely a PR guy. That's it. That's his job. He gets paid the big bucks to take all the flack. He speaks on a lot of times. He speaks for the owners and all this other stuff. It's up to these owners to reach out and to get these guys. Now, the problem I have with this is all of a sudden some of these coaches come out and said, I wanted Kaepernick. I wanted him. Then why didn't you make this? If it was so important to you, then why did you not step up at that point and say, listen, I tried to get Kaepernick, make it known, so this way that we could have already been ahead of the curve with all this stuff. We could have already had this conversation and had a serious conversation about it instead of a couple months here and then it was gone down the road. Kaepernick's not a quarterback. Okay, boom, he's out.
I like how you used the curve reference, too.
Yeah, I did. But I think it's important, for people to understand Goodell does not get him a job. Goodell can mention things, but these owners are the ones that have to give him a job, have to give him an opportunity. And the people are saying that he needs to give it to him. Okay, if we give him a job, have we taken a step forward? I mean, what I'm asking is, because isn't the whole point of giving in the NFL is to get a job because you deserve it? You're saying just give him a job. Well, he's better than some of the quarterbacks. I'm not going to argue with that, especially a lot of the backups. Even at his age, I don't know what he looks like. I heard mixed reviews on people going out there and watching him throw the football at that little tryout he had and things. I'm not going to say that. For Colin Kaepernick, do you even want to play? Or do you want to be that PR guy for the whole Black Lives Matter movement? I'm asking. I'm honestly asking on this. If he's serious, I feel like if he was truly serious, this would have been an issue ahead of time, not now. We would have already talked about this, and he would have already either had a job or he didn't have a job because he didn't want to continue to push because he really didn't care. He just wanted to be the face and the one that stepped forward on the Black Lives Matter movement. And I'm okay with that either way. Why don't we hear from him? That's what I want. I want to hear him talk. I'm hearing people are saying, well, we want to hear from the owners. I want to hear from Goodell. Well, I want to hear from Cap. I don't want to hear from everybody else. I want to hear him. I want him to come out, and I want him to speak. I want to hear, does he want to play football? Because I think that's the big, if you give him a job for what? He may not even want a job. He may like where he's at right now because this causes the controversy. This causes people to talk, and maybe that's what he wanted to do from the beginning. I don't know, and that's where I look at this. Yeah. Will he have a job? I don't know, but for people saying, Goodell, it's up to you, it's not up to Goodell. It's not.
No.
We need to come to realization, and that's where, again, I get so frustrated with media. I think it's important, Shaq coming out on the Drew Brees situation and saying, guys, this is a lot like Kobe. When him and Kobe were going through things, he goes, they made it a lot worse than what it truly was because they want that divide. They want people to divide. The media does not want people to come together. No. They don't, because there's no story in that. Think about that, people. There is no story if we come together. There's no story. They don't want the happy ending. Think about it with Fox News, with CNN. They don't ever talk about the things that we do agree on. They don't ever talk about the good things on this. In the media, these people talk about, well, this is what we need. We need these guys, whatever. No, you always hear the bad side of things. Every once in a while, you'll get the good stories. But I want people to understand this now more than ever. And a lot of people, I'm sure, do. But especially the young people out there. The media wants to tear people apart because, therefore, where there is drama, there is clicks. And where is people paying attention? And guess what that brings? Big bucks along with it. That's all I'm going to say on all this. I think that we have to realize what we are being played like fiddles. A lot of people are. And that's why I'm not going to do it. I'm not going to sit here and get into all this and come after anybody, because I've said it before. The only way that this is ever going to work is if we evaluate ourselves first, we go out, and if we mean it purely in our heart. If your heart isn't right, don't go after people. If your heart isn't right, just, again, self-evaluate. The protesters we have in Pensacola have done such a great job. But guess what? Even the people that are out there, if their heart isn't in the right place, we're never going to solve this problem. Some people are protesting in this world, whether you're on one side or the other, just because they want to, because they want to cause trouble. And that's a shame for the people that truly want change.
Yeah, I found out a puppy dog died on the bridge. People blocking the bridge. Some guy's pup died. This is serious. This is not.
Yeah.
The guy was like, hey, I was trying to get him to the vet. But it's a real story. But I have to say, though, that's why Fire Festival, the one that completely failed, and it looked like they had some tents and some space movie to stay in with like a half a meatloaf sandwich that wasn't even real meat. And they paid like $20,000 to go out there. That's on like 15 different Netflix and all these. You can find it anywhere. Like the peaceful concerts that you see of people like, at Red Rock. I don't see too many. Like you said, they like to embrace more of the Fire Festival. And when it comes down to this, like you said with Roger Goodell, it is not his job. I made the reference to, if you own a plaza, those shopping plazas that have like the really nice Chinese restaurant, you can get groceries, you can go and get all the knitting stuff for your granny. That place, the person who built it does not have the right to walk in. If you have a craft store, look up there on the wall. Not a big fan of this, and just scatter it all over. Like, well, excuse me, sir, who are you? Be like, actually, I own these buildings. Yeah, we pay rent. We are the people here. We're the tenants. Yeah, I just don't like that. Not a big fan of your plants over here. What is this? Like, get out of my store, sir. We're calling the cops. That's pretty much what you're asking out of Roger Goodell. It's not his job to make decisions for all of the owners. The decisions are theirs to make. The NFL, he is the PR, the face. He might run the league, doesn't own them, but he pretty much does. The rest of the people are the ones that make the decisions for their own organization. So it's up to them. And the first time around, all 32 owners said no. Now, people are staying more silent today. People are getting called out for staying silent. But at the same time, the actions of the owners at that point said he wasn't going to come around the first time. I think this time, we'll see. There might be one, but it still takes an owner to make that decision. And a lot of people were not neutral on this. They were either, I'm done with football after 40 years in the NFL on Sunday, or everybody completely doesn't get why he's doing it. There wasn't too many like, well, so a lot of these people are not going to come back. And some of the people over there are never going to get it. And some people are going to feel like we're going to continue to push this down people's throats. We made our case, and I think it's pretty clear how we feel on this.
I think with real quick, I know we got to move on, but oh
no, we could stay here. There's not too many games. I mean, Bundesliga soccer is back in.
I how I feel about all this whole.
We're getting into some NASCAR. You're getting guests back in here, yeah.
But I think that just for people to understand, you'd say it's Goodell, but what is Goodell? Is Goodell going to go to Jerry Jones? Is he going to go to the Cleveland Browns, or is he going to go to the Chargers and say, you're taking Kaepernick?
Well, Jerry might need a quarterback here soon. I don't know.
Yeah, he might. He really might. I mean, we'll see.
Him and Andy Dalton, Kaepernick versus Dalton, like a flashback.
But I think it's something that understand what you're saying when you see these people on media saying, well, if he means it, he needs to get him a job. Here's my thing. My perfect thing, I think, that could be good as long as, once again, Kaepernick's in a place that he can do this, just like if anybody else was brought in with a pure of heart of truly making change here without anything negative towards it, is give him a job with the NFL, working with the whatever, I don't know what you would call the job, but let him work in the front offices for the NFL. Help change. Be a part of speaking and things like that. I think there's other people that my big thing on this, I think there's other people that are far more qualified. Kaepernick was an NFL figure, but there's people that are more qualified to have these conversations, obviously, because they've worked in this whole racial injustice style thing for their entire life. We're seeing a lot of these, from NBAs to even NASCAR, bringing people in to talk about this because there's people that have worked on this their entire life, that this is their job. So what I am saying on that, though, is just think about that. You're telling, okay, Goodell, what is he going to go up to one of these owners and say, you're taking Kaepernick? How does he do that, first off? Do you just draw a random team? That's where it sounds silly, because it is silly. I mean, it comes down to this, is if the owners want him, the owners want him. Look, there's a lot of players, and I'm not saying in that same situation, obviously. There's a lot of players that could be playing for people, but they're not, because you worry about them being a problem in the locker room. You worry about what it's going to do, because ultimately, your job as an NFL franchise is to go out and win ball games. The same way that these quarterbacks, and a quarterback's job is to go out and throw touchdowns and win football games, and a wide receiver is to go out and catch touchdown passes and do a great job. And I go on and on, but that's where I think it just sounds. I want people to understand, just because you hear that, and even these people on ESPN saying this, please understand. What is he supposed to do? Like, just think about that. Is he just going to randomly draw a team and say, Kaepernick, all right, hold on. Rolling the little bingo thing. All right, we got the New York Jets, which they may want that. Who knows? But I'm just saying that's where we're at in this. When people say this, once again, don't be blind to just because somebody said it, oh, that's a genius idea. No, think for yourself. Really break this whole situation down. That's all I'm going to say, because it's silly to think about it that way.
Let's end this with, we all agree on one thing. He's got to be one of the best quarterbacks out of the 64, because he has to be better than Ryan Finley. And we'll end it at that.
There you go.
There we go. NASCAR revealing their plan to welcome back some fans, as it says at this point, coming up here for the NASCAR Cup Series, beginning with the Dixie Vodka, which we did check. It's got I think 5 times distilled. Some good stuff going on.
Yeah, I tasted it, made sure it checked out. It does.
Yes, it is. I'm a big fan of their sponsor. Right? That's what's. Well, wait, this is that vodka. Never mind. Homestead Miami race right there coming up here next week. It looks like they're going to try to get some butts in the seats, and they've modified event procedures to try to get the number of attendees out there within guidance. And this looks like all that short print that most people read, and then they're like, "You didn't read the pages?
You just check the box."
Guys coming at me with a knife with a mask. He told you this was. What?
Just here for read the fine print.
Just here for breakfast. But at this point, it's looks like most people are going to have to break it all down. They'll have to wear face masks for the time being until the race gets going, probably, and then they take it off. I'm not sure they're going to have like an usher, like, "Sir," like the final lap. And here they come down the speedway. It's Kenseth and, "Sir!" You know, guys screaming at him on the final lap. Yeah, like I would love to see that. Some guy with cut-off sleeves and tats like, "Come on, man, we can do this, Chase." And then the guy just comes by like this little usher. "Excuse me, your mask." I'd love to see that moment right there.
Great. It's going to be hot down there,
Yeah,
too.
It will be really hot out there. I would like do a mask that's skin color, so people like that with the smiley, and make sure everybody sees it, and then just take it off to make sure. But now that it's been asymptomatic is out there, those people. But if you have access, you can get down to the infield. So it looks like they're trying to make it within reason. The 6 feet social distancing is going to be the one that's going to cut it. Obviously, how many people can be there into smaller numbers, just based on that alone. But overall, they're going to try to make this work.
Well, Talladega said they're going to allow 5,000 people in their main grandstand. So if you've been to Talladega, you know it's a big track.
You used to expect to get sick in Talladega though, for other reasons.
Yes,
that's what I'm saying. Now,
for sure.
But, most people come back like, oh man, I don't feel good.
And you can't go in the infield. You're not going to be allowed down there. They're going to limit the RVs. If anybody has ever been to Talladega, it's a madhouse, and it's unbelievable. I mean, it's a ginormous party, of course, because Talladega, there's nothing else but Talladega in Talladega or around there. So I think it's cool.
You ain't first, you're last.
We're talking about next week. The next week's race is they're talking about implementing
awesome,
fans.
Yeah.
So
not the fake puppet noise. Would you be against for the people that said that they don't like any of that noise? I agreed with the comment when the Atlanta Falcons had noise, but they had fans. That just means, like, can you have some kind of like Tony Robbins seminar to teach your fans how to cheer? But the difference between, not the 28 3-day, but when it comes down to actually pumping noise when there's no fans, like the soccer games, though, like the Bundesliga soccer, some of the good stadiums do it. I love it. I mean, it sounds like the way they can do from the camera angles, because let's face all of this, we fight for things all the time in certain ways that you might never go to, or you're 75, you've maybe been to one or two games. Some people go all the time. There are season ticket holders that go. But most people are like, man, how many people are going to be in the seats? And you're like, Gerald, you haven't been to a game in 30 years. You watch every game. So if they can cut the angles down on the camera and then go ahead and put some crowd noise, you might feel like you're there. Just saying, for most people, it's not going to change if you can find that. But I love the crowd noise.
You could drink enough and feel like you're there anyway.
Use accent. Yeah, exactly. Make sure the accents are like it for Boston, Look at awesome. Like some guy in the front there, Hey, Donna, did you park the car? And then like in the front, like, who is making that noise? And oh, don't worry. We've simulated people that have seen it. Hey, grab the kids.
Random conversations.
In New York for the Jets games. Yo, in the front, like the most stereotypical. Whoever's in charge gets full control over access of people. He's back there. How they would feel booing the Saints. They get Vinovic's crew in New Orleans. They simulate every fan and what they would want to say to his crew. On that note, when we come back, we're going to talk some Major League Baseball. We'll get into the proposed plan that has, it seems like, well, we think is getting one step closer to something. Hopefully we'll get baseball back here soon as things start to open up. We always felt like Major League Baseball is one of those kind of games that you could get out there and play. People are doing it all around now. Little leagues are back. Softball leagues, you hitting those long foul balls to left. It's back. It's all coming back right here. Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, Blab TV.
Need a job? Then let's get back to work. Check out this listing.
Family Heating and Air has immediate openings for talented and motivated teammates. Great company with great benefits. Send your resume to ops manager at familyheatingandac.com. If your business is hiring, then let us help you. We can tell thousands of potential candidates about your company and opportunity right now. Call us at 262-6000 to get started.
We're helping Pensacola get back to work.
I'm Mina Kimes, host of ESPN Daily. Each morning, we bring you a deep dive into a single story from one of ESPN's hundreds of reporters. It's the best of ESPN Daily. ESPN Daily is presented by Marathon. Now, more than ever, we have to look out for each other and count on each other. Marathon wants you to know that you can count on them for high-quality, top-tier gas. Wherever you need to go, the people at Marathon are behind you all the way. Marathon, fueling the American spirit.
Bowling is a sport that will last you a lifetime, and at Cordova Lanes on Airport Boulevard, every night there is something exciting happening. Like on Tuesday and Thursday, it's penny a pin. Bowl 100, pay $1. Or how about starting your weekend off right by reserving a lane for just $25 at Moonlight Bowling. Enjoy a fresh-made pizza and the lowest pitcher prices in Pensacola. So what are you waiting for? It's time to roll your way into Cordova Lanes and experience fun like never before.
Hey guys, I know there's a lot going on right now in the world, and we're all shopping online. I just saw that AT&T started doing 2 really helpful things for those who want to buy a new phone or device online. They're offering fast, free, no-contact delivery and curbside pickup so that online shopping is as simple and safe as possible. On top of that, they have a flexible return policy so you can shop at ease. You can visit att.com to learn how to shop online from the safety of your home 24/7. Subject to change, restrictions apply.
Ferocious flavor has landed at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. It's bold, it's different, it's refreshing, it's dragon fruit. We're using real dragon fruit to blend up our fearsomely flavorful new dragon fruit smoothie. Try one today, paired with a fan favorite Super Green Caesar chicken wrap or a Chipotle Chicken Club flatbread for a powerfully tasty combo. Slay your cravings at Tropical Smoothie Cafe. Eat better, feel better.
Camp Bow Wow is a day and overnight camp just for dogs. But don't take my word for it. Here's one of their campers. I couldn't agree more, Cooper. Camp Bow Wow is where your dog plays all day, then snoozes the night away. Camp Bow Wow also has spacious play areas, cabins with comfy cots, live webcams, and more. Whether your dog is coming to play for the day or staying overnight, they're sure to have a doggone good time at Camp Bow Wow in Pensacola, behind Walgreens on the corner of 9th and Langley, and online at campbowwow.com/Pensacola.
There's only one name in town when it comes to afternoon local sports talk, the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante.
Some athletes don't want to be given. Nobody does. No, look, when you play with your pops as it gets older, one of the most embarrassing things. My daughter's 3. I just slam it right in her face right at the play school hoop. Like right there, like I'm Zion Williamson.
The games, the players, the fans. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station. ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
In my eyes, indisposed, in disguises no one knows, has the face, lies the snake.
And welcome back. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Well, Father's Day right around the corner, and if you want that perfect gift for Dad, and maybe you're a procrastinator, not to say that I am, but I didn't say I am. But you would see that. You can see that, right? Anybody that works with me is like, I bet he gets it Saturday night at 11:58 just so he has the receipt in case somebody asks from like Walmart.
You get it at
like the only place that's open. Yeah, exactly. One of those 3. He gets boiled peanuts and one of those hats that say America on it. That's what he gets. That's what you get there.
Get a plush beaver and you'll be all right.
Have you seen some of the prices? Not at Buc-ee's. They got good deals. But some of those hats that you think are like one of those like let's go to the beach kind of things. Those things that some of those like those styrofoam cases that are going to break in your boat on the pontoon. You expect those to be overpriced because you're only buying it there because you were headed out and you forgot your other cooler. If you go shopping at one of those local places at the gas station for that, first off, you're not following social distance protocol because it's way too crowded to go shopping on leisurely. But secondly, you're living some type of life. I don't know, something like that.
Big ballin'.
But overall, when it comes down to getting gifts, this year you might get the right one. Well, Jewelers Trade Shop, one of our great partners, and they truly are all about being local. I know that during the whole situation of the shutdown, especially with Palafox, a lot of good businesses. And last time anybody checked, it's not cheap to have a place on downtown right there. Property is but they've been there since 1956, serving the community. 3 generations from Corbett to Corbett to Corbett. And the whole family, just nice people. We've been family friends. Well, they're giving us, I give Corbett a call today, and I got to tell this story. He wouldn't want me to because he's very humble, but I call him, and we're trying to get a gift for Father's Day. And some people are giving, a lot of times like a $100 gift card, something like that. And he's like, let's make it a watch. Tissot watch. That's how awesome of a dude he is. So for our Father's Day gift, all you have to do is send in your pics with your kids, or if you think you're in a really sweet photo with Dad. We'd rather have it with your dad, But we understand that if you're like in, my age, like Leighton's not getting on. If she does have social media, we got more problems going on. But if she gets on there and sends in Leighton has already sent in the pic of you and be like, wait a second, how'd she do that? So if you have little kids at the ballpark, you can do that. And then you also get the right to send in the photo you like, except for that one you passed out at the bar and you're like, is that even me right there? Jeff, you can send in one as well with your dad or with Brooks and Dunn. At the game right there.
Actually.
And there you go. You can do that. We'll accept animals.
The cheapest T-Shot watch, by the way, I'm looking at it. It's like $150. That's the cheapest one.
Oh, no. He's going
and
big
I know.
on this one.
I'm looking at these, and some of these are like, whoa.
Yeah. He's not playing games.
That's awesome.
That's what I'm saying. This guy, it's pretty
deal.
good. And we're also going to give you a chance to win it on next Thursday.
I can't win it, so it doesn't matter.
No, you can't.
Because the rules say the commercial.
But
I'll go under another alias, though.
That's what I'm saying. I've got the show Catfish.
I'll get Brooks and Dunn to send it in.
Been caught once on MTV. They might not catch me this time. But I'm making the announcement. Yes. I give a fist bump. If you see me fist bump on air when I pull out the name, and I'm wearing a TISO watch in town. But if you look at it'll be the 18th. We'll give it away next Thursday. So in about 9 days, you have a chance to all you have to do over the next 9 days, we all are on social media. Don't lie. If you are, just send in a pic. And send it to our ESPN Pensacola Facebook page, and we'll post it. Nice little pic right there, maybe with Kazoo at the ball game or down there on the ice with the Ice Flyers on Poppy Wiener Dog Night. Whatever you're doing, and have some fun with it. And if you send in the pic, we'll select it random. It's not biased. We're not dealing with it if, maybe you had one of those with, quote, his stepmom that, looked like an Ernie McCracken photo from from Kingpin. If you're pulling that one off, we're like, winner. Be like, why'd you pick this one? No, please. But it's not going to be like that. We're just going to select it at random.
If you do happen to have rabbits in your picture, you maybe.
Or if Ernie McCracken photos like that. But just say, whatever you need to do, send them in, and we will give you a chance to win that watch. Thanks again to Jewelers Trade Shop, our proud sponsor for Father's Day. Dabo Sweeney, I'll say this about everything going on with him. Defending his assistant coach for what he said on the surface. If I would have said Dabo Sweeney was right to defend his coach for using the N-word, people would be like, right now, traffic would stop, windows would be broken in the Times, and people would be heading. But if you know what he said and why he said it, it makes sense of why he's defending the guy, in my opinion. I mean, if you've ever been to a basketball court or any type of sporting event at all and ever played as a kid, you might hear a few said yo, pass me the ball, insert word. Come on, man, insert word. That was a foul. Let's all be real for a few seconds with the word and how it's used. So a young black kid said it to his teammate in a way that wasn't very appropriate. The coach assumed it was towards him because he had just pretty much reprimanded him for drills. But this guy's also been on his staff for a long time and would never use that word in the situation that we're in right now back towards that kid. He pretty much repeated it back the way he said it. And can we just use common sense today, people? That's all. I mean, I don't need to get another rant with my heart, but let's stop trying to assume everything and use common sense. Or I'm going to start putting articles in the newspaper. I'm calling the people at P&J, and I'm going to write Chad dies. And then big bold letters, I'm going to send it, and then underneath it, it's going to say, dies to have a ham and cheese sandwich from that new shop that just opened. Because everybody just wants to read the headline. They want to make their own assumptions anyway, so we might as well fool people into believing all these fake stories. This is out of control when we can't just use common sense. There was actual reason and validity to why Dabo said that. So let's not we're crushing him for something as saying, I just came to, my coach's back because he didn't yell it at practice, didn't show up, hey everybody, hey, you're like, okay, get him off the field. And he even said, if I ever hear this, and he is a man of integrity, regardless of what you think of how he coached against LSU, he's a man of integrity and deserves better than that. So I'm going to stop it right there. But, after reading the story, not the headline, that broke some car windows, I agree with Dabo. We're coming back. We'll talk some more. The possibility of a new morning show on ESPN with two guys that I don't think JP is going to be too pleased. And joining us as well will be former Major Leaguer Greg Litton, who will join us on the show to break down a little baseball. Coming up here next, right here in the Sports Drive.
Gulf Breeze Chiropractic and Acupuncture is now open at 3481 Gulf Breeze Parkway and is providing care for all ages from newborn to seniors. They offer manual or instrumental adjusting. Dr. Sheila Decker at Gulf Breeze Chiropractic offers acupuncture, therapy, custom orthotics, as well as MVA, workers' comp, and PI. To schedule your appointment today, call Gulf Breeze Chiropractic and Acupuncture at 850-903-1708 or visit online gulfbreezechiro.com.
Football season never ends on Talk Football with Coach K.
Stidham is tearing it up at New He may well be the incumbent to Tom Brady there.
Former head coach of the Buffalo Bills, Coach K brings his expertise as he breaks down the game, the players, the coaches, and the front office. Plus, high-profile interviews from the biggest names in football. Talk Football with Coach K every weekday from noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 FM 99.1.
What'd you do this time, Brad?
I'm in the doghouse after my hunting trip last weekend.
Yeah, I was too. I blew off our date.
How'd you get out of the doghouse?
Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa. I got her a gift card. It took 3 minutes at swmedspa.com. She booked it this Saturday.
Saturday? So 9 holes then?
Tea time's at 8.
To enjoy a hassle-free guys weekend, treat her to a gift card from Stillwater's Day and Medical Spa. Follow Stillwater's on Facebook or Instagram to enter contests and win great prizes. Or visit swmedspa.com.
Nick Saban has a message for us regarding the coronavirus.
First of all, I hope this message finds you and your family safe and well. On behalf of our program, we want to give thanks to all the medical professionals and caregivers in our state and across the country in these challenging times. Our daily routines have changed dramatically over these past weeks. As we have said to our team, we share the same message to all of you. Please understand the following guidelines of social distancing. We ask that everyone please wash your hands often. Stay at home if at all possible. And when you have to be out in public, make sure you keep 6 feet between you and the nearest person. We are in this together, and as one team we will get through these difficult times. And together we look forward to all that's to come, like the opportunity to play college football this fall. But the best and safest way to ensure that happens is to listen to the experts, follow their guidelines, and take care of each other. Stay safe and roll Tide.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
You can watch Chad on the Sports Drive live right now on our YouTube channel at ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Yes. Bruce Jenner still counts for the Father's Day. Whoa, welcome back, everybody. Sports Drive on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. I just can't believe you bring that up right now. That was just
don't bring
looking
me in
at
that.
the.
There's already enough people stirred up right now. No, thank you. Nope, we're not going down that path too.
Why not?
No,
it follows murder. It was on the list to follow Murder Hornets. So I'm going to go down.
Hey, look who's joining us on the
Greg,
phone.
Greg would enjoy
here we
this.
go.
Greg will answer this question right now. 5:35 out here. Greg Litton joins us, former major leaguer out there. We're giving away a watch for Father's Day from Jewelers Trade Shop for the best picks with pops and their kids at the ball game. And Greg, it is appropriate still to put Bruce Jenner in that voting, right?
In my book, yeah. I'm not the most politically correct
I know.
person to ask, so.
That's why, in case it ever got back to us, we brought this up. All I said was, I just asked you the question. Remember that. I have not given an answer. That's
Patriot way.
That's the Patriot way. We just answer the question, you know. You know where I'm going with this, but you can't prove it. But looking right now at what's going on in baseball, Greg, it doesn't get much better in this conversation, as it seems like we've been sitting here now waiting for what? A month where you would expect a sport like baseball where you sort of already social distance about 100 feet from people and every position you would expect them to be able to do something watching Korean baseball at 4 in the morning. But the owners and the players are not getting along right now and agreeing to terms. The latest was that they were going to get 75% of already a prorated salary, which was about half their contract, and play around 76 games. Is this something that at this point they need to shut up and take it, or do you believe that the owners on the other side make so much money that these guys deserve to fight for that?
Well, both sides need to compromise. It's so hard being on the outside, Chad. It just, having been on the inside of at least 3 labor disputes, or whatever you want to call them, negotiations, I can tell you from what the people and the public know isn't normally anywhere near what's really going on behind closed doors. And, you know, the players are just conditioned to not trust the owners. They lie. They are not umping up a lot of the time. And so it's hard for me to say, but I do know both sides need to suck it up and do something to make this happen. And, you know, I read something about who was the previous commissioner, not Donald Fear, but
Bud Selig?
No, before Fear, the great one that well, anyways, one of the former commissioners was talking about, he thinks the owners are trying to basically use this to fracture the union. And he was just saying, look, I can tell you this, that ain't going to happen. And it's not going to happen. So if the owners, if that's what they're trying, it's not going to work. The players, the Major League Baseball Players Union is the strongest, it got to be one of the strongest, if not the strongest unions in the world. But again, they shouldn't, the players shouldn't use that either. I don't know, it's tough, but they need to make something happen to get out there and play baseball. And I think they're risking losing a lot of fans and losing a lot of respect by a large percentage of Americans.
Speaking with Greg Litton, former major leaguer here, who is probably sick to his stomach watching some of these details of guys fighting, not wanting to walk and play baseball for less than half a season at about $15 million. But, Greg, you look right now at a lot of the teams, and when we do come back, you know, a hiatus from baseball, you can get out there. A lot of these guys have enough money where they probably have pitching machines and maybe whole fields that look better than Kevin Costner's in Field of Dreams, where they can go out there and they can play and get set their pitching machines to 95 with wicked curves. But there's nothing to simulate the actual games. And you talk about the guys trying to get ready to hit 98, to hit those curves, the knuckleballs. Are they, after taking this long of a break, should we expect to see the same type of baseball, or are we going to be a little rusty for a while?
Well, absolutely, they're going to be rusty. To what degree? You know, these players are great athletes. I think they'll bounce back, but you can't take this much time off. And I don't know if they're talking about a shortened spring training is only 4 to 5 weeks now, anyways. So I'm not sure what they're talking about or what they're going to agree on. But these guys should, at the same time. I know if I was home right now, I'd be out taking batting practice every day, and I'd be working my tail off because I was one of those that didn't have that guaranteed $30 million contract. So as soon as they said, hey, we're coming back, I'd be ready to go physically. And it is hitting it, you know, other than what you said, facing live pitching. So hopefully they're all doing that, and it won't be a big difference, but it's got to be a slight hindrance on their performance.
Greg, when it comes down to it, it's coming up here where you talk about travel and time at the ballpark. You have 2 daughters, and I'm blessed to have a daughter as well. And you know, and we all have dads. You know, whether the relationships and everything in life, you never know what paths you're going to take your everything on. But with Father's Day coming up, was there one moment that you can remember, either with your dad or I know that you grew up all over, had a chance to live in Panama places, and not just like Panama City Beach, but actual Panama. And talk about Do you remember, what's one memory that you have with Father's Day rolling around the corner here of going to your first game or having that first beer on the boat that you'll still always remember when it comes to sports?
Well, I can tell you without a doubt, the one that comes to mind for me was my rookie year, 1989. I'd gotten called up because Chris Spire got hurt, and, being young and dumb, I didn't know why. I just knew I was going up, so I went up with the attitude that I'm going to stay up, and unknowing to me, when Chris came off the DL 10 days later, I went down, had only played twice, only had a couple at bats, got called up 5 days later when he hurt his back again. I was up for 10 days, got my first major league hit, got a little bit more taste of the big leagues, let's just say. And then I went back down because he came off the DL and got hurt. I think it was like 7 days later. I came back up, stayed the rest of the season. But that year, Field of Dreams came out, and it came out shortly before Father's Day because I remember going to the theater and watching it, and Father's Day was in like a week, and, I wasn't sure how long I was going to be there, but I went ahead and bought my mom and dad plane tickets, and so my first Father's Day in the Major League in San Francisco, my mom and dad got to be there, and they're both passed away, and so that was probably the most special Father's Day with my father. I'll tell a funny story. I took him out to dinner downtown San Francisco, and I didn't grow up, let's just say, with a silver spoon in my mouth. My dad worked hard, and he did a good job of providing for us, but we didn't have a lot of extras. And I took him out to dinner in downtown San Francisco on Pier 39 at Skoma's, a real nice, fancy restaurant, famous restaurant on the wharf down there. It's actually on, I think, Pier 41. But when my mom and dad opened up the menu, I was kind of laughing because I was watching their face. And so I asked them what they wanted. And my dad ordered, he told me, he said, I think I want the chuck steak. And I was laughing inside because that was the cheapest thing on the menu. And he didn't want me to spend any money. And even though our minimum salary then was only $68,000, I was loaded compared to anything I ever had. And I told my dad, I said, you are not getting the cheapest thing on the menu. And we sat there and argued back and forth. I said, well, if you order that, I'm going to order 2 entrees, something else I think you'll like, and then I'm going to have to spend more money. So he finally looked at me and goes, okay, I'll have the fried oysters. And it was a great time because that was the first time I got to treat my parents to anything, and I'll never forget that weekend.
And ordering the oysters, it shows some strength right there that is willing to veer out and take some risks, on the West Coast like that.
Absolutely. It's hard to beat some good fried oysters.
By the way, you played in San Francisco. I have to ask this on because we obviously live in a big seafood town when it comes to oysters down the road in Apalachicola or all the Gulf Coast shrimp and what we have at places all over here. But when it comes down to abalone, I know that's big out there in San Francisco. I've never had it, but I heard it's ridiculously good.
It is outstanding, and it's like any fish, though. Every blue moon you can get a bad taste of it or just a bad piece. But done well, it is absolutely outstanding. I loved it.
Greg, one thing, of course, you being a first-round pick and everything that went into that, just curious, because I know we talk MLB all the time. We talk about things you've gone through, what's going on right now. I just want to know, purely just from a fan perspective, what was it like? I mean, I know things have changed a little bit now, but what was it like? How did things lead up? I mean, did you know who was going to draft you beforehand? Was it like a last-minute thing? How many teams did you talk to before? I mean, what was the experience like?
That's a great question. It was really weird because, I came out of high school. I wasn't a big prospect. I mean, I was a good high school player. The only scholarships I really had were to the local junior colleges. Mississippi State did want me to walk on, but I couldn't afford that. And so the first year worked real hard. They started, I think I started kind of making a name or I finally was in front of scouts. I don't think too many scouts were watching us play at Woodham High School my senior year, except for when we played Tate. But my first year there was talks. Boston was, I still remember Milt Bowling. He was a legendary scout for Boston in the South, in this area, in the Panhandle. And Milt always liked me. He was one of the ones, most of the scouts don't really talk to you, to be honest. They just watch and keep their distance. And but Milt always went out of his way to talk to me, was super nice to me. And my freshman year in the winter draft and the June draft, he had told me he thought Boston was going to draft me. They didn't, but I didn't take that too hard. I was pretty excited they were at least talking about me. And then my sophomore year, I knew the Giants were looking at me because of another legendary scout in this area, Squeaky Parker. He drafted me, Mackie Sasser, Will Clark, Charlie Hayes, Jeff Brantley. So going into the January draft, my sophomore year, I was fairly confident I was going to get drafted, but I really didn't think it was going to be the first round. So when that happened, I was pretty excited until I saw the offer they made, and I was like, I guess the January draft ain't quite like the June draft, because I'm not sure I could have got a new car with what they offered. But I did end up signing with the Giants, not because of the money, but they put a college education into my contract, and having that little first-round asterisk next to your name is very, very helpful. It helps keep you around longer if you're playing poorly, and it gets you a couple extra chances, hopefully, or thankfully I don't think I really needed them, but in Major League Baseball and pro sports in general, teams like their first rounders to succeed, so they're gonna give you every chance to do that.
Greg, final question here. When you talk about the game, if they do come back with less fans in the stands or no fans, but we're able to play ball and they can finally agree to something in terms of contracts to get the players out there, you had a chance to play in front of Major League Baseball crowds. Not going to lie, not too many people were at the games to watch me pitch at UCF. I only pitched 3 innings, probably for their enjoyment anyway, that I wasn't going to get back out there. But, you had JP got to play at University of Mobile, UWF, but once again, that's not playing at San Francisco, where you have a packed crowd and people waiting outside in parks to watch you on big screens. Without fans in the stands, would have made a huge difference on the way a lot of players in that dugout, not only you, but might play the game and the style they play the game?
Well, I definitely think style, yes, because let's just say the hot dogs won't have anybody to hot dog for, really, except for the cameras. But 99% of the major league players are out there with pride and their dignity on the line, and that's the way they treat it, and they work their butts off and they play their butts off. So I don't think you'll see much. I know, I can tell you without a doubt, I would have played just as hard with no fans in the stands or a packed house, because you're playing for your livelihood, your career, and your organization, and there's so much on the line. I don't think that'll be a big deal. I think any player that says, and I haven't heard any baseball players, but I have heard a couple NBA players act like, well, they can't play without fans, and I'm like, well, you don't have much pride, I guess it's just pride in yourself and the organization and what you do if you can't play without fans up there cheering, because that helps. It's great, but there's a lot more to it than just those fans, because fans are still watching. Kids are looking up to you, and if you need that little rah-rah pat on the back at the stadium to get you fired up to do your job, I question your character.
Well, Greg, it is always great to catch up with you every week when we talk some baseball. Hopefully next time we'll know, because it seems like they have, within the next 48 hours, I feel like
they said they want to hear by tomorrow.
Yeah.
To hear from the Players Association tomorrow. So.
We wanted to hear back in early April. But
we did.
but they're saying tomorrow.
Yeah.
So hopefully next time we talk we'll be talking about actually the season and when we're getting ready to go out down there at the ballpark or watching them on TV. Well,
I can't wait. I hope they don't do anything stupid and cancel the whole season, as that would be That would be a disgrace.
Baseball would never do anything stupid, Greg. They wouldn't do that. So that's it. And on this Comedy Central note, we'll go ahead and say goodbye. And look forward to talking to you soon, my friend.
My pleasure. Thanks for having me on, guys.
All right. Greg Litton, former major leaguer, great guy right here, a Pensacolian, and somebody that kind enough to make time for us at any time. It's going to be his happy hour time.
He talked about the scouts not talking to him. I had the same problem. Still have the same problem that day. It's to this day.
Not just scouts. I mean, people in general. I've been living that life. I've been living vicariously through him. I didn't even know it. I was, it's just the people don't want to talk to me. They run the other way. It's
still waiting on that phone call. Not going to get it.
They're not getting. Nobody's
getting spam calls.
Nobody's putting you there. It's the reverse Rudy moment movie.
I'm getting out of my prime. They better hurry up.
I got in my prime too. It's too expensive. $2.99 more. 15 days now it takes. Oh, that prime. I never.
Or
had
that. Yeah, either prime.
Yeah, either
It's
way.
Fine.
Prime rib, man. Oh,
can't afford either one of them.
Go for some good prime rib.
Welcome to Mo! Okay, hi, what are we doing today?
I need something that screams something fun. Nothing too on the face, nothing too off the face, but also totally hot.
So I have the perfect thing. It's the most food mullet. You're totally business in the front, but tailgate in the back. It's a fat party. People are having fun. Snap. All your friends are going to be like, whoa, awesome setup. Everyone else is going to be all jelly, okay?
Just like a killer mullet, Moe's Catering will turn the back of your ride into a tailgate party that's sure to turn some heads. Just order ahead and pick it up on your way.
Moe's Southwest Grill, now open in Pace on Highway 90 next to Publix grocery store.
We're here to tell you about Boost Mobile's new upgraded network.
That's right. Stronger signal, faster speeds, and more coverage.
So now you can get everything you want faster, like Pitbull's music.
No, the new upgraded network means you can download music faster than ever before. It doesn't mean that it will make Pitbull songs faster.
Oh, so this isn't the song.
No, this is the song.
Well, this is embarrassing.
Step up with Boost Mobile's new upgraded network. Stronger signal, faster speeds, more coverage than before. Switch and get 4 unlimited lines for $25 per line per month and 4 free LG K51 phones. Access to upgraded network requires compatible device. New customers only. 4-line offer requires at least 1 port and activation from eligible carrier. Free phone limited to 1 per line while supplies last. Customers using more than 35 gigabytes of data during billing cycle may be deprioritized during times of congestion. Offers and coverage not available everywhere. Additional terms and restrictions apply. See boostmobile.com or retailer for full details.
The year was 1919. Barbasol shaving cream was invented by a dreamer named Frank Shields. The world's first modern shave cream, Barbasol changed the face of shaving forever. A few billion shaves later, Frank's dream lives on. Behind every face is a dream. Barbasol proudly salutes every fearless, self-assured, wide-eyed dreamer all across America. Celebrating 100 years. Barbasol.
For 30 years, Thomas Home Corporation has proudly helped families build their ultimate dream home. If you're looking to customize your home, we are currently building throughout Escambia, Santa Rosa, and Okaloosa counties, and we can either build your home in one of our subdivisions or even on your own lot. Our team works with you to guide you through each step and decision in the process. Builder of the 2019 American Dream Home and Builder of the Year, Thomas Homes Corporation has built quality homes at an affordable price since 1990. Begin the process today and become one of our proud homeowners at thomashomescorp.com.
An auto policy from State Farm gets you collision coverage. And this radio ad from State Farm gets you coverage of this beloved 90s hit.
I hit a car. I hit a car. I hit a car. Ooh, baby. Ooh, baby. It's gonna be okay. It's gonna be okay. My agent's gonna help me.
For more coverage, visit statefarm.com.
The latest sports news is at ESPNpensacola.com and on Facebook at ESPN Pensacola. Plus, watch Chad Brilliante, Coach K, and Sports Call live on our exclusive YouTube channel, ESPN Pensacola 1330.
Talk football every day with Pensacola's own Coach K.
Credit a great performance by Garoppolo. And I love the way he throws the football. He's got all the things going for him.
Every weekday, noon till 1 on ESPN Pensacola 1330 FM 99.1.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I've had a large mouth pass, bust my line of
Luke Combs is awesome. He really is awesome. Getting to that private concert down there for Cat Country at the Sandshaker was a lot of fun. I got to go there. It was like one of the rare dates that I got to have with Brittany. Got to watch it up top there. Good time. Luke's the man, though. We actually have paid tickets to go see you. They're very rare. I don't go to too many concerts. If I have a chance to get out for a couple days, we usually end up going and watching a sporting event. I say we. It's usually me that ends up going to watch. But when it goes down to like concerts, I've seen like Dave Matthews, but Jason Aldean was playing, and Laura Elena and Luke Combs were down at the Wharf rocking it before. And this is before he got real popular. We already knew him. But I was like, this guy can sing. He had the pipes, man. Guys, he's rocking it. We like Luke Combs. Looking at the situation with the everybody wanting the island for UFC fighting, we were just talking about this during the break. People need to understand. First off, you're not getting an invite to the island right now, so it does not matter. This isn't a movie where you get dropped off the island and you think you can make fantasy wishes and things come true. That's fake. But one thing we need to understand is that regardless, even if whatever looked like paradise outside, you're going to get the view of the octagon and the cameras like every other broadcast.
Just so people know,
it doesn't matter at all.
Fight Island is in Abu Dhabi. Because I'm sure there's plenty of people that are like, I don't know what the hell's going on now.
Well, that's probably half the show sometimes.
Yeah, so Abu Dhabi, that's where it's at. Fight Island is there. Not exactly, you thought, if you're thinking Caribbean or somewhere like that, like I was, it's not. It's Abu Dhabi.
Yeah. It's over in the good old
Middle East.
Yeah, by Saudi Arabia, UAE. That's what I meant.
UAB.
I'm just getting it. There's some Blazers over there. It's many Blazers, but it's different one over there. Cutter. We should have a. Gosh, remember we were supposed to. Never mind.
We went an entire hour without talking about what Jameis Winston said today. And we got.
Yes.
We're gonna let.
You know what? We will go ahead and pass these. This conversation piece will be too long for that.
Historically best ever. One of the best ever to play the game.
I think he was one of the best ever at Florida State.
He's got records.
He is one of the best ever at Florida State. Yeah, he does. He has records and priors. But he has he's got a shot to prove himself as a backup. Don't worry. Drew Brees will start no matter what anybody has to say. Or the Saints.
Doomed.
Worse than the playoff doom.
This is ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brilliante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
Ladies and gentlemen, can I please have your attention? I need all of you to stop what you're doing and listen.
Coming up on the Sports Drive, we'll get into the situation with Jameis. It's like that one song with R. Kelly, where his career obviously went in the right direction afterwards. I'm the world's greatest.
Smith has just become the NFL's all-time leading rusher. Across the middle, it is caught for the first. It's Baldwin shaking free and sprinting down the sideline for the touchdown. His third of the day. Doug Baldwin.
Derek Brooks, who ran back 3 interceptions for touchdowns in the regular season, does it to cement the Super Bowl.
Boxing's elite, the new WBA heavyweight champion of the world, Roy Jones Jr.
Ball's been beaten. The result has come up on screens that Gatlin's taken it. Goodness me, it was a blue American vest, 992 the Gatlin. 992 by the American champion to take gold.
Another Watson is wearing a green jacket at Augusta. And this time, his name is Bubba.
Scores on a 34-yard touchdown run by the Doak Walker Award winner,
Trent Richardson, who broke a lot of Emmett Smith's records back in Pensacola, Florida.
And welcome back to the Sports Drive right here on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Thank you. Simulcast each every day on Blab TV. 850-623-1330 is the number to be part of the show. As right now, getting in the conversation here, Jameis Winston, he had told Tyler Dunn of BleacherReport.com, they're moving up in the interviews right there. Got Barrett Saleh. They start taking off here. Looking, he said, I know day in and day out, without publicly coming in and saying it, that historically, I'm one of the best quarterbacks to play the game.
For the wrong reason.
Now, the rest of this, see, when you start off with that, then everything else is going to be really tough after that to what you're saying. That's why, like, in closing statements, like, you don't walk up there like one of the best trial lawyers ever. You don't walk up to you start walking the room, pacing in front of them. And you don't just go, boo! And then, like, have everybody jump back. They're like, whoa, what was that, man? Sorry, man, I'm just practicing for my kids for Halloween. I know it's next week. And then they're all, like, angry at you sitting there. And then you go into one of the most profound speeches in the history of any jury's ever seen. They're still not clapping because they're still pretty ticked off. You just booed them in the middle of a public setting. Kids, they're embarrassed here. Guy peed his pants. Like, that moment, you ruined it for the rest of everyone. So by doing this, I read the rest of the article, and he seems, a lot of it's on par. You know, he goes on to say, I've been a winner my entire life, little league, middle school, high school. Obviously, the NFL is a little more difficult, but I've been a winner. I don't want to be viewed a loser. So there's like that good cop, bad cop. But he started off with the historically I'm one of the best, and at that point everything else you're about to say, it's done. I mean, you've just sort of, the people already have their arms crossed. And if he would have added that at the end, like slid it in there, I would have been like, you're still wrong, but I liked what you had to say.
Or if he would have said, I feel like I am one of the best in the league right now, one of the top quarterbacks. Okay, sure.
He's still wrong. But,
Well, yeah, but when you say historically one of the best to play the game, let me just read this to you real quick. Just regardless of wins and losses, because I understand quarterbacks can't control that sometimes. 4,000 yards, 22 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Okay. 4,000 yards, 28 touchdowns, 18 interceptions. Okay. 3,500 yards, 19 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. 3,000 yards, 19 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. 5,000 yards, wow.
He led the league.
33 touchdowns and 30 interceptions. So what I'm saying on this is, once again, I love everything he's saying, but when you say historically, you better be able to back it up, my friend. When you're saying you're one of the most historically best quarterbacks to play this game, where historically are you talking about? Like, what? I don't understand this. And then if you want to look at it, look at the win-loss record, if we want to bring that into it. I mean, I get the defense hasn't been that great, but coming off a year, you just threw 30 interceptions. My man, come on now. Like, he is talented. Jameis Winston is talented, and I hope he gets it figured out in New Orleans. I hope playing behind Drew Brees with that staff and everything, he'll learn some things, and I believe he'll be able to go get another starting job for sure, because he does have the talent. But his decision-making is awful. And that's pretty darn important when you're playing the quarterback position. That's where I hope he can learn that. But when you say historically, where on this list of everything that we're looking at is it historic? He didn't win. It's not like he's winning Super Bowls. Like, historically, right now, when you look at it, Eli Manning's a better quarterback. Eli Manning was very average, but he won 2 Super Bowls. But on here, he's very, very, very average at best.
But the stats... And we've said this before, but stats are like bikinis. They show some but not all. Now, with that being said,
these stats are pretty accurate.
NFL quarterback stats, though, can be extremely misleading out of the one key. If you were the leader of a football team, the thing that you should look at the most, wins and losses. And that's where, and people go, well, it's a team game. No, stop. It is. But Patrick Mahomes was out there, and he took a team and won a Super Bowl against clearly the best roster out on the football field with the 11 on one side, the 11 on the other, and special teams in the San Francisco 49ers. When you had Matt Moore, it was that, average run-of-the-mill kind of guy, good old American out there, Oregon State Beavers. Went out there, he played for about 7 years. Yeah, listen,
no,
Matt Moore was out there.
No Oregon State.
Matt Moore is literally that meal that, like, how's the meal for breakfast? Yeah, you get 2 eggs, get a piece of toast, and 1 sausage link, and water. What about coffee? Bacon? A little extra for bacon. What about cheese on the grits?
Nope.
We didn't say grits. Like, he's the most plain. He's the one where you start the meal and then you build. He's the start. Matt Moore is about as plain you expect. He's purgatory of NFL football. He is 7-9, 8-8. And he's done it forever in his career, wherever he's been. He's been that guy that comes out. We all know those quarterbacks. If you've watched the NFL, the Matt Castles, the Kyle Ortons, the Ryan Fitzpatricks, the Josh McCowns sometimes. There's guys that come out. Matt Schaub did it for a long time. Those quarterbacks the journeymen that show up, and they always seem to go 7-9 if they get a chance to start that year. Well, he was out there, and Matt Moore was that. Then Mahomes comes in and wins. So one thing that's pretty clear is if you got an elite quarterback, that Jameis is clearly saying he is, then you win football games with him. And his records, you ready for these ditties? You ready?
Ready.
Because you got to embrace these. 6-10, 9-7, 5-11, 5-11,
Ew.
7-9.
Ew.
Those are the records right there of Jameis Winston. So for the people out there that look at this and say that, well, you know what, he's just had some bad problems. No, when you're the leader of that team and you have a chance, you have one of those 5 years, you make the postseason. Said 5 seasons, he didn't make it. And to me, when we talk about the real elites of the elites, and it's a quick hitter on this one, Drew Brees, Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, Big Ben when he's healthy, guys that we've talked about, Patrick Mahomes, obviously, even Lamar Jackson now. All of the guys we just mentioned as starters consistently either make the playoffs or the Super Bowl. Russell Wilson, obviously. Sorry to even leave him off a list. But those guys all continuous. Then there's the Matt Ryans and the other guys like Kirk Cousins that get on there, and then once in a while they're off. But at least they're on there. They're in the in-crowd once in a while. They get invited to the party. Jameis has never got invited. I know we're in social distancing time, but he's never got invited to the dance. He's never been in the playoffs for 5 years. So where do you have the room to talk at all? Because every other guy I just mentioned either is not only guaranteed or expected to go to the Super Bowl, but some of the other guys are expected to be there in and out, and you've never been there, so you can't. So that you can, but nobody's buying it when you say you're one of the best, because one of the best at least gets you to the dance, and there's no excuse for the weapons he's had.
Well, you go back to 2017, the games he started, because in 15 and 16 he started every game. He was 6-10, 9-7. You go back to 2017, he started 13 games. He was 3-10. You go back to 2018 here. Well, he started 9 games, and in those games he started, he was 3-6. Once again, where? Like that's I mean, where? That's where if there wasn't everything going on right now, obviously this would be a tremendous story that would be out among the headlines, would be out. Everybody would be talking about it. We would be talking about it on First Take. We'd be talking about it on SportsCenter and all this other stuff. Obviously, we're not talking about it right now, but that's where, like, this guy would be absolutely criticized beyond belief. And where, like, I want somebody in this interview, if he would have said this to me, I'd have been like, what do you mean historically speaking? I want to know what he means by that, because historically speaking, you're not even close, my man.
Yeah.
Not even close.
And if the people are going to go down the path, because everybody will find an angle, and there are a lot of Florida State fans, a lot of people that root for him. And if he's going down the path of, well, he was one of the best in college, which is actually true, we're not arguing that. Jameis Winston won the Heisman. He won a national title. He went undefeated. He went back to the college football playoff.
Lost Oregon.
Yeah, that's true. You got to be added to that. That's your pass.
We
I'm just joking.
Couldn't finish it, but yeah.
He didn't get a chance against us. We just claimed it.
We got some good memes against him.
But Jameis Winston, if you talk about all-time college at Florida State, for sure he's in that conversation. But if somebody goes, well, if he did that at Florida State, then he's going to do it in the pros too. So that's where you get the big whammy on that one. Because clearly, if you've ever paid any attention to any type of Heisman Trophy winners, you can know that if we started to read the list dating back all the way back to White, to guys
Jason
like
White?
yes,
old man.
So I mean, think about it. I'm gonna read you some of the quarterbacks here that have won, from Jason White to Matt Leinart to Tim Tebow to Sam Bradford. Please not stop me, but please start me when you hear somebody decent in the NFL. So don't, Johnny Manziel.
Sam Bradford got paid like he was.
Yeah, it gets worse actually as we continue through. Cam Newton's the only one that actually has had, and he still doesn't have a job right now. The one guy in this list I'm about to read that's had a consistent track in the NFL is the one guy that doesn't have a job. Now, let's start in the 2000s. The Heisman Trophy winners at quarterbacks. Because I've heard that. People are like, well, if he's good in college, he's going to have that day in the sun, and he's going to ride that right into the sunset on the back of that donkey. Well, here it is. Chris Winkie, 2000, 2001. Eric Crouch, doesn't even get that noise. 2002. Let's give a little. All right, bravo to Carson Palmer. We'll give him some.
Yeah.
Give him some.
There you go.
Hey, give him some props right there. Yeah, Carson Palmer, a Hall of Famer.
Moving on.
Okay. 2003, Jason White. Then in 2004 was Matt Leinart. 2005 was Reggie Bush. It does not count for a quarterback. 2006, Troy Smith. So was that
Forgot about Troy Smith.
I think everybody did. I'm actually double-clicking this to make sure. Yeah, he played for the Ravens. So, okay, that's even making my case. This is only helping more. Okay, 2007, Tim Tebow. Sam Bradford, not touching that one. 2010, Newton. So far you've got Newton and Carson Palmer.
This is an ugly conversation.
This is what I'm saying. Johnny Manziel, Robert Griffin, Marcus Mariota, and then it's Lamar Jackson, Baker Mayfield, Kyler Murray, and Joe Burrow. So we're not done, and one of those guys is a doctor, Dr. Baker Mayfield, so I want to be respectful of his PhD. But overall, these guys, the committee's not done on. Like Lamar Jackson's already done something special, but the committee's not done. Remember, RG3 had a good year, and then he was RG3 and out. But literally the entire list, there's not one guy pretty much outside of Carson Palmer and then maybe Cam Newton, who doesn't, like I said, who thinks he's in his prime and doesn't have a job right now. Nobody has been the Heisman winner to being a champion in the NFL. Not one of them has been that guy. So why, and not one of them, not one single guy on that list has been that since 2000. So why for Jameis to say this, why are you assuming that it's going to come back? Or maybe you just don't like to look up facts, because that's not even like an argument. That is literally every single guy on that list has not even come close. So your valid point that you were trying to make of, well, he did good in college, so he's going to be great when he gets that other chance. That's why Joe Burrow, time will tell, but Joe Burrow, based on that track record, he could be the first, but if he doesn't fail, that's why a lot of people, like the over-under sit at 5.5 wins right now. A lot of people are like, take the under and not touching it, because it's the NFL. It's the NFL. It's a big boy. Put your big boy pants. But I'll quit reading facts. I'm looking. It gets even worse later on.
That's what I'm saying.
Ty Depner, Gino Torretta, Danny Werfel. It doesn't. We love them, but
yeah, what a great person, but it didn't work out.
Doug Flutie, these guys. Come on, I like Doug, but 850-623-1330 is the number. Caller, who's this?
This is Cletus in Navarre.
Hey, Cletus, how you doing?
I'm good, man. How you doing?
Man, we're hanging in there. We're, the social, you can have parties of up to 12, I heard this week, but if you have a protest at your house, you can have 100. And I'm not reading. This is actually on a fact Q&A. So what you need to do is if you have a party, Cletus, just make sure everybody's arguing about a social subject, okay?
Dude, I'm a one-man party. I roll along. You folks can't handle my stuff.
That's
hey,
right.
Wasn't Cam Newton playing for a Super Bowl at one time?
He was. That's why I said we made the point that Cam Newton and Carson Palmer had done some, but the one guy that we pointed to on the list was a guy that currently says he's in his prime and is out of a job. You know what I'm saying? Like that was the yeah. But he did play in a Super Bowl.
Bruce Arians finally had Bruce Arians. Yeah, that's true. But man, it's just hard to get to a Super Bowl. I mean, Lord have mercy. What about Peyton Manning? He's on your list, right? He actually won a couple.
Well, Peyton Manning would be on the list, but he never won a Heisman.
Oh, that's right. He got screwed out of that.
Yes, yeah.
Sure
that's a valid point.
He sure did. He should have won that year.
I think it was yeah.
The defensive guy, that was the Michigan guy.
Yeah, right.
Harrison Howard, didn't he win?
No, Charles Woodson was that year, I think.
Charles Woodson, my bad. Yeah. I've been drinking a little bit. Sorry.
Listen.
I'm jealous.
Hey, look, man, I've always wanted to see Luke Combs. I'm not a big country music fan these days because it all kind of sounds kind of cruddy to me. But Luke Combs is awesome.
He is.
Like, really awesome. And I can't wait to see him. That's like one of the first people I want to see when we can all go do that again.
He is an awesome man,
anyway.
and he is because he's real too. His roots, he had to work his tail off.
Yeah, man, it makes me want to drink beer when I hear that song.
Yes, it does.
You know, not just one, like 14 to 16. Like, anyway.
That's why.
All right, well, we'll just keep listening to VAR. Y'all have a good day.
You too, Cletus. Look, many songs.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I am jealous though, because I wish I could be drinking
just
like
for
that.
his, just because he's already a couple cold ones deep. Hopefully, Tequila Makes Me Crazy doesn't come on the air, because then he's in a lot of trouble tonight.
I tell you what, my songs, I'm gonna
cold beer.
give him some drinking songs the rest of the show. That's what he's gonna get.
Where's a song like "All I Want Is a Water"? Give me 2 Advil and a pillow tonight. Like, yeah, we'll be the ones to save you at 3 a.m. right there with the song. But I know enough songs to try to put people. I got late to go to bed last night without. Brittany had a friend over, and big moment for me right there.
I just thought you said something else. I'm not going into this.
No.
Never mind.
Leighton sings Luke Combs, by the way, and she loves singing that long neck, ice cold beer, never broke my. And I'm like, and I want to say something like, why is my 4-year-old saying this? Or am I going to be judged? But it's a Luke Combs.
I want to check in on that,
It's a Luke Combs. I'm just let her go.
No, just check in on that.
In the South, man, you just rock it.
No,
Just rock it, baby.
Just check in
That
on
it is. I think that's an Abraham Lincoln quote. Just rock it. Let's go break. Don't judge me on that.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight, and we will beat this pandemic.
For your ESPN Pensacola Ridiculous Facts, I'm JP. A race car with a wood-burning engine finished third in the 1927 Indianapolis 500. According to Major League Baseball rulebook, baseball games are to last 9 innings or 2 1/2 hours, whichever comes first. Kite flying is a professional sport in Thailand, yet another sport I wouldn't be good at. And the Stanley Cup was originally 2 stories tall, but was deemed too difficult to transport. Yeah, I can see where that could be a problem. That's your ESPN Pensacola Ridiculous Facts. I'm JP. JP here. Everyone here at ESPN Pensacola wants to send a shout out to our first responders and healthcare workers at this time. We know it's tough, but we appreciate the work you put day in and day out. We also want to thank our essential workers out there for helping all of us continue to live our lives as normal as possible in this time. For our community, keep rocking it. We are going to get through this. Remember, we were named the #1 strong town in America. That wasn't by accident. We have seen so many people step up and do their part, and we thank all those people for their efforts. We will be stronger for this, and together, we will beat COVID-19.
I'm Little Teapot, short and stout. Here is my handle and here is my spout.
No, Dad, like this. When I get all steamed up, then I shout, tip me over and pour me out.
This is WWE superstar Roman Reigns. It only takes a moment to make a moment. Take time to be a dad today.
Visit fatherhood.gov, brought to you by the U.S. Department of Health and Human Services and the Ad Council.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
We do sports, and that's all we do. We're your hometown sports station, ESPN Pensacola 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
Hey, it's Big D and Bubba, and we are live on location. We want you to come on out because this is not just a party, it's a parking lot party with Lee Rice. John's firing up his cold and grill. We got 24 tall boys on the chill.
Welcome back, Sports Drive, ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Look, we
parking lot party.
We just had a caller, Cleveson Navarre, saying that he's a couple cold ones deep, and now
there you go. Parking
look
lot
what
party.
you're promoting. You were embracing the.
I'm jealous that he's drinking already. That's what I want to be doing.
You're the guy that brings a flamethrower and a Molotov. Did you see that guy, by the way?
I did not. Hold on. First off, let's make this very clear. In the times that are right now, I did not have a flamethrower anywhere.
First off, I would think more of you as a human that you owned a flamethrower and where you got it, because isn't that only black market stuff?
I just want to drink.
All right. Brett Brilliante joins us, our brother. He is always, I'm sure, pleased to, all of our brothers, right? As he is pleased to be joined every single week on this show in such a kind way. Brett, what's happening today? I hope your day is going well.
It's been going well. Been working hard, shooting some episodes of School of Golf out on the range tomorrow if the weather will allow. So it's been nice to get out of Martin Hall's garage and back to the golf course range. It's pouring here right now, so I'm cautiously optimistic we'll be able to go in the morning.
First off, just because we are family, I know you do work hard and you put on you actually are one of those people, unlike me, that follows up on things in life and all. But when it comes down to that working hard from you, the way you said it looked like that slick guy like licking his lips like he just won the lotto, and he's like, yeah, I'm working hard. The way you said that did not sound too convincing, like you're out there right now overlooking the bay. But I know that you guys
everybody's definition of working hard has changed over time. I'm here working from home, working at my laptop, sitting on my couch with my dog laying next to me while my wife is actually on a work trip in Denver.
Okay,
so,
that's more like it.
We're used to get into the building or the office at 8, 9 a.m. You're punching that clock right at 5, and you're just kind of trying to find time. The workday has kind of become now where, okay, you kind of roll out of bed and you start working around 8 or 9 o'clock, but, maybe you watch a little bit of TV, maybe you surf the internet. And, the fact of the matter is, I'm working longer, but I'm working smarter. I actually enjoy maybe sitting here and, watching a little TV at night and working on the rundown and doing some work throughout the entire day and not having to try to cram it into a small little 8-hour window.
From a dad joke standpoint, Brett, do you think this one would pass if you said, what kind of gift should we get our dad and how do we find out? Order him a medium pizza.
Nah,
remember, they don't need laughs. Exactly. That's what I'm saying. This is not this is not.
No, I mean, if the point was not good, then congratulations.
Then there you go. That's what we're going for. Dad jokes don't win the awards when they're really exciting. Yeah, they're supposed
don't act
to
like
be.
that. You were just trying that. You were literally trying that joke out to see if it was good or not because you were going to use it.
I'm trying to win this award. Somebody said, "Listen."
When you tell a dad joke, you want someone's response to be, "Oh my God, that is so bad," and that was not the response to yours.
Yours just crickets. All right, Jameis. Speaking of that, which deserve crickets, is Jameis Winston's comments that he made about being one of the best quarterbacks. Historically, yeah. Now he went on to say a lot. Look, both sides of the story because people get angry when only one side is told these days. But The rest of it was pretty much I'll give him credit. He says, my entire life I've been a winner. Little league, middle school, high school football on that table. When I shot the BB gun at Publix, those are added. Obviously, the NFL is a little more difficult, but I've been a winner. I don't want to be viewed a loser. It's going to come. It's going to happen. This is something I've been fighting for my entire life, building up to this. But he did right before that say, historically, I know I'm known as one of the best. I'm like, well, your records are like 6-11, 5-11. I mean, 6-10, 5-11, 5-11, 7-9, and 9-7. You've never made the postseason in 5 years. Where is his legacy? Does he have a chance to turn this around, in your opinion, and leave a legacy that people are going to remember as one of the greatest?
Look, he's no longer starting quarterback in the NFL. He went from the potential of making $20 to $30 million plus a year to taking a bare minimum contract to be a backup for the New Orleans Saints, where unless something crazy happens with Drew Brees, he's not seeing the field. He has to sell himself. The team will not be selling Jameis Winston. He's not going to be on billboards. He's not going to be on jerseys. The team is not going to promote him. If he wants to have a future, if he wants his name in the headlines, he has to now promote himself. He has to kind of keep himself in the headlines. Look, I've got no problem with what he said. And the fact of the matter is, if you look at the two quarterbacks from that draft, Jameis Winston and Marcus Mariota, I still believe, even though I would not want him as my starting quarterback because of all the other things that come with it that you listed, his ceiling is still incredibly high. He obviously can throw for massive, massive yards. He can throw for a ton of touchdowns. He had incredible offensive numbers other than the interceptions. It's always going to be the turnovers. But if he can cut those down, and look, he went through LASIK. He said it's been unbelievable, the difference of what he can actually see. We have an idea of what he was actually seeing the last couple seasons. And if he's actually seeing his own teammates for the first time, then yeah, I mean, if he can cut that down, he goes from being like straight from the bottom, 10 in the league to straight into the top 10. So while I am very, very weary of him being able to cut down on those turnovers and interceptions, if he does, and that's really all he has to do. There's a list of quarterbacks where they got to change this and do this and do this, and if you complete this checklist, then maybe you can be a starting quarterback. For Jameis Winston, it's one thing. Stop turning the ball over. And he's back to being a starting quarterback in the league. Yeah, this conversation, though, was based on getting a starting job back, not being, as he said, the greatest. Historically. Well, look, I don't think he's going to have the opportunity to prove himself on the field very often. The fact of the matter is, he's going to be the backup. And when Drew Brees isn't in the game, as long as he's healthy, Taysom Hill is probably going to be getting the other snaps. But if for some reason he finds himself in a position to get reps with the New Orleans Saints, let's face it, he's got the receivers, he's got the offensive system. The New Orleans Saints are going to make Jameis Winston look real, real good. And if he can get some quality time in a couple of games with the New Orleans Saints, yeah, he's going to command a pretty big contract next offseason. When I'm looking at it right here, wow, 176 million views on R. Kelly's I'm the World's Greatest. So 176 million people believed he was at one point as well. So there you go. You got it. People just 176. That's a lot of views, by the way. Desposito has over 6 billion views. Chad's had a lot of time to think and ponder things. If you can't. I'm just saying, but it's not about what we like. I'm just saying there's less people on this earth. Pretty much. You can view it though and hate it though. But you should, if you view and hate it, you'd stop there. That means many have viewed and continued. If you're thinking about quitting your job in radio to become a Latin pop star, Chad, I'm just going to say, I'd think twice about that one. Competing against Desposito, I'm not going to copy that. Looking at the nothing on Justin Bieber. That's right. When it comes down to golf right now, Brett, you do work for the Golf Channel, and it's what you cover. Looking at golf is one that we expect social distancing. First off, Tom Brady holding out from the fairway. That was pretty cool. But overall, when you talk about golf in general, do you believe that we're going to be coming back here pretty quickly? Or, from a standpoint of the fans being out there, everything that goes into your guys' jobs for the cameras and just being back to sort of – when do you think golf is going to get back to normal? I know they're starting, next week? Yeah, well, not next week. Here on Thursday. Okay, the PGA Tour is kicking off at Colonial, Hogan's Alley, historic golf course. Rory McIlroy, Brooks Koepka, golf is, other than fans, golf's back on Thursday, and I'm excited. The Korn Ferry Tour is going to be back. The PGA Tour is going to be back. The LPGA and the PGA Tour champions and the European Tour kind of are going to be coming back a little bit later down the line. But The PGA Tour's best players are going to be on display this Thursday through Sunday. The current plan for fans returning is early July. The Memorial, the state of Ohio, has granted them permission to have fans. I think it's somewhere around the lines of 8,000 fans per day at the course. Obviously, there's going to be social distancing and plenty of guidelines to follow. But that's great news. Like that's just a couple of weeks away. And the PGA Tour is going to be at the forefront. They're at the forefront of American sports returning to television, this coming week, unless you count UFC and a couple of other fringe ones like cornhole. They're going to be at the forefront of fans returning in the crowd to watch their players compete. So I love the fact that the PGA Tour is kind of leading the way. And let's face it, people are going to be, rabid for some sports other than professional fighting and cornhole to watch this weekend. And I think it's going to be golf.
Looking right now at when it comes to what we've seen with college football, obviously, I think, and we were raised right. Our parents are awesome. And, people, that's why people are like, how did you go so far south, Chad? But when it comes down to life in general, we were raised the right way, to do the right thing. We don't see if somebody was, I always say, if you see somebody getting beat up on the street and you're bigger than the guy, that's my sort of, is that not how it's supposed to go? You're supposed to help them either way. Is that what we're? Oh, never mind. But if you see somebody, you don't really. The point of this is you don't judge the color of the person. If you're a good human, you go help that individual because they're a human being and they're getting beat up by not a good human being in this situation. I think most of us wake up and we don't see color because if you work at the Golf Channel or when you went to University of Florida or any of us here, our days don't change when we work with people, co-hosts of all color, all that. But there is a lot of things in this country that obviously need change, and people sometimes almost have to pick or choose things and how it says in the media. And in football, guys that have played together for 20 years, friends, are going to now look at guys differently in the locker room because of one quote or one tweet. When they've known their heart and character, they've traveled with their families, they've bunked with these people in different hotels on road trips, and now because of one tweet, they're going to assume this is a different person. That, to me, is the point that's disappointing in all this, Brett. But is it going to separate college football and a lot of the locker rooms, in your opinion?
Yes, absolutely. Obviously you have a lot of people, when it comes to the Jake Fromms of the world, when it comes to a lot of you have people who are rabid, who are angry, who are more than ever, not just going to let the idiots and the racists of the world come to them and present themselves. They're actually going out and investigating and looking for those people. And the fact of the matter is, that there are some people in this world who lose their jobs and things happen to them for unfortunate circumstances. But if any point in your life you have posted something publicly that is racist, that is just straight up undeniably, undefendably wrong, and nobody forced your hand to put that out there into the world, I have trouble feeling sorry for you. Like that you kind of showed yourself. When it comes to someone like Drew Brees, I think that we all know his heart. And I think his was a little bit more of an opinion base, not this is who I am. We know Drew Brees' heart. We've seen what happened when Hurricane Katrina hit. We've seen what happened, when he donated $5 million to the hospitals in the New Orleans area, to fight this COVID virus that we're still dealing with right now. We know the heart of Drew Brees. And I think he is a light of we need to listen, we need to become better. And I think that even though he was a very good person who said something, probably did not read the room and said something at the very wrong time, I think that we've all seen that he has grown over the past couple of weeks, and I think his teammates are going to accept him. There's just certain things you're going to say, and there's just certain rooms where you're never going to, win in the court of public opinion. There's going to be players, and there's going to be fans, and there's going to be media who will never let him live down what he said. But the fact of the matter is, I'm confident you're going to be seeing him as a starting quarterback for the Saints, and I'm pretty sure you agree. Listening to that really well done piece that you did on your social media pages, Chad.
I hope you're that was in some way a compliment.
What did I miss? What? Yeah.
Wait, which piece right there? The video I did?
So, the video. Yeah, the one, you laid it out well eloquently and stuff like that about, the Tom Herman quotes and everything like that. I mean, that was, again, I am agreeing with you. I am agreeing with a lot of the things that you have said.
I'm confused now.
Don't overthink it, Chad.
If this is genuine, I'll say thank you because I actually did think that.
Absolutely.
Okay.
No, Chad,
thank
look,
you. Right.
this is your show, and you said it very well, and I'm sure many of your fans have already seen your thoughts on the matter, and I don't think I need to say much more.
What? Now I'm very confused.
It's genuine.
No, that is the most ungenuine. First off, that was well said. I don't need your opinion on that.
Look, I will say this is the problem of being brothers for 25 plus years. You actually compliment someone and have a genuine emotional connection and say something nice. And I can see why you would doubt it, but no, Chad, no. I think many of your thoughts on this matter are on the right page.
I'm gonna try your tones in your voice tonight and going up there like, hey, I really like those jeans you're wearing, and see how that goes, and see if I'm.
Did I say anything that you disagree with?
Well, we all do. I mean, that's most people. Look, I know when I'm completely off the cusp. I know when I've said something or didn't do it, and I have. And frankly, with Drew Brees, people. No, we don't have to get into this more. But people need to understand though that if people, here's one clear cut, and then we're moving on though. If somebody says though that somebody is using the word he is a racist, do you think that President Barack Obama would have given this guy the Humanitarian of the Year in 2011 if he truly thought that? That's all. I'm going to end it right there for people that truly.
That's what Brett said, though.
Chad,
that's what I said. That's what I said on the video, though.
But you're not listening to what Brett was just saying. So therefore, what he was saying was agreeing.
Were you doing something?
I know he was,
something else while I was talking. I think I think that people need to just you really have to look and genuinely dig deep and try to put a little context and say, does this person have a good heart? If you know Drew Brees, if you followed his career at all, if you know the work that he's done,
I know that's what you said. But then you came back afterwards with that fraudulent tone in your voice with agreeing with me. That's what's getting all this going, is the way you said it. You didn't say anything like I disagree. It's the way you said that.
Oh, geez.
Was I'm not gonna buy it.
I've already bit.
Yeah, we're moving on here. Let's end with a couple of funny college football jokes that you will laugh at this one. All right, why does Nebraska have turf instead of grass?
I don't know, Chad.
Because they don't want their fans grazing.
There you go.
How come football isn't a religion in the SEC anymore?
I don't know.
It's put on probation. Looking at the situation right now with that's a pretty funny one, but I'm not. 32 Arkansas.
Why are Tennessee school colors orange?
Why is that?
So they can play football on Saturday, go hunt on Sunday, and pick up trash the rest of the week.
I like that one.
Yeah, that's a good gator joke right there.
That is a good one. Well, why was OJ trying to get his white Bronco to Tennessee?
I've heard this one, but it's been a while.
It's because they're not going to be looking for a Heisman Trophy winner there.
That's good. That's true. That's
the laugh that I was waiting for. Well, listen, for basketball, you live in Orlando, so. Are you going to go to the games to watch 22 teams?
Well, I don't think I'm going to be allowed to. I mean, the NBA doesn't.
Well, wait a second. Have they made the? Wait a second, though. Have they made the rules? There is no fans. It's a magical world. Disney should make They do make their own rules.
There's not going to be fans. They're not going to look. It's the NBA. Look, the NHL I think laid out a really good format. The NHL has a very succinct 24 teams, 4 byes, 5 plays. It is very straightforward, and it's very clear what they're trying to accomplish. The NBA is thrown out one of the most convoluted 22 teams, 9 from this conference, 13 from this conference. If you finish the season within 4, there's a 2-game double limit. It is unbelievable. You have to have a degree from MIT to understand what the heck the rules are for this upcoming NBA season. So while I'm happy and I'm never going to be mad about more sports coming back, and look, especially being a Major League Baseball fan, I mean, the NBA can pretty much do anything idiotic they want. They're still better than MLB at this point. But, man, I wish they would just simplify things and, set up a game plan that we can understand and where the possibility of fans being there for the playoffs.
Well, it's, at least they're doing it in the home of the champions. So it's pretty exciting that, look, Disney, they're going to – who do you think ultimately wins? Personally, I think the Clippers are going to win when we come back. But,
Look, I mean, it's hard. We just saw this past season that Kawhi steps it up when the playoffs start. And he's got better talent around him this year than he did last year in Toronto. So I'm with you. I really like them coming out of the West. I'm actually going to go Milwaukee Bucks. I just think this is Giannis' time. I think he is, slowly becoming the best player in the league. He's coming up on what's going to be, probably the largest contract in NBA history. I think it's just time for him to take his game to the next level. I think the Lakers, the Clippers, all those really, really strong teams in the Western Conference are just going to beat each other down, and the Milwaukee Bucks are going to pick up the scraps.
And Orlando gets home city advantage throughout. Look at that. They pulled it off. The Magic pulled it off. Yeah. Good for them.
They're going to be used to playing in front of incredibly small crowds, so that's an advantage too.
All right. Well, Brett, appreciate it as always, and we'll talk to you again soon. And keep all the conversations here just direct and always positive. That's what we do.
Hey, and while we're just talking and saying really nice, genuine things, I love you, Chad.
All right. Send Leighton a gift. All right, bye.
Send my actual love to Brittany Leighton.
Okay. Goodbye.
Goodbye.
Brett Brillante, my brother from the Golf Channel. Let's go ahead and take did they drop right then?
No, they're on.
Oh, they're on. Okay. Caller, who's this?
Right on.
Speechless.
I don't know.
Right there.
Not coming through, I guess.
Maybe they really. I think it was somebody calling to let Brett know he was not genuine with his.
I don't know. They kept calling during there when we were talking to Brett. Whoever it is, if you give us another call.
Maybe they had a question for him.
Maybe so.
Since obviously we get directly into all the golf lingo with the Golf Channel. They had a big question. We had a huge golf stuff with them. All those tournaments going on. I know you want to get into the, when we come back, some of the tours, some of the smaller tours. I know that was where we really want to get in. What was it, the Corn Ferry Tour? We'll talk that when we return.
Know what in the world
that's
you're talking
a tour on the golf. When we come back, we will get into more on the Corn Ferry Tour right there. Woo!
No, you will.
Making it happen.
Amazon. Yes, we're all familiar with the name. What if I told you you could tap into Amazon's massive user data to target your ideal customers? Is that even possible? Absolutely. Even if you don't sell your products or services on Amazon, we're able to place ads across Amazon's full suite of products. Join Cat Country 98.7, News Radio, ESPN Pensacola, and Pensacola's playlist for a free live webinar on Tuesday, June 23rd on how we could reach your prospective customers using Amazon's user data. Reserve your spot today for our Amazon ad targeting webinar on Eventbrite.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
What if people had a battery level icon, like on your phone? You'd see a lot of us in need of a recharge. Thank goodness there's 5-Hour Energy. Because just one sugar-free, vitamin-packed 5-Hour Energy shot can get you all the way back to 100% fast. And isn't life better at 100%? 5-Hour Energy. Get back to 100%. For more information, visit 5hourenergy.com.
Hi, I'm Danica Patrick. Watching my nieces grow, play, and learn is amazing, but not every child gets to be carefree. 1 in 6 kids in the U.S. are hungry. This breaks my heart, and it's something that Feeding America is working to change. Each year, the Feeding America network of food banks rescues billions of pounds of good food that would have gone to waste and gives it to families in need. To help, visit feedingamerica.org.
Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
JP here. At ESPN Pensacola, we are hometown proud. Like the greatest pound-for-pound boxer of all time, Roy Jones Jr.
Three-time light heavyweight world champion and former heavyweight champion of the world, future Hall of Fame legend, Roy Jones Jr.
What up? It's your boy Roy Jones Jr. and you're listening to ESPN Pensacola.
ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. Pensacola's home to hometown sports, covering the biggest high school games. UWF football, catching every game of the Pensacola Blue Wahoos. Plus, local sports commentary with the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. And weekend sports talk with Davis Allen and Justin Patrick on the Sports Call. We are local. We are ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
This is Davis Allen from Sports Call with Davis and Justin. You're listening to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante on ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
We got winners, we got losers, chain smokers and boozers, and we got yuppies, we got bikers, we've got thirsty hitchhikers, and the girls next door dress up like movie stars. I love this bar.
Just keep why? Just going back to Cletus right now. He's sitting there right now.
I told him I would. It's a good song too.
This is a good one.
Toby Keith. Yeah.
Is there a song? This is a better question. Is there a country song? Not the pop country, but is there a country song in the last 30 years that doesn't have some type of drink in my hand?
Oh,
I mean,
sure.
I think if we spun the wheel of country, I mean, we could try this right now. I know they had to break early here from TV because they have to get they're doing a Zoom call with the doctors here. Not doctors. They are in a way. They prescribe, but bankruptcy hour right there. Lawyers, Lewis and Jerniboy do a good job. He's a big Eagle fan, by the way. And the funny part was when he came by, and I don't think he's watching right now because they're getting ready for their show, but he walked up, Fred Barnett, he played for the Saints and all. Comes in studio. You know Fred from the Pensacola Jets?
Yeah.
Okay. So
Look
Fred,
at country songs.
Okay. But Fred, this is an important story. You need to call. Okay.
Not that important.
Well, so Fred's down there, and you can't miss Fred. He's an NFL guy, a great guy, Tropical Smoothie, one of our great sponsors, and Fred's out there, and he walks by, and Mr. Jerniboy is a huge Eagles fan, so he walks by and shakes his hand. He's Fred Barnett. Man, it's great to meet you. Now, Fred Barnett was a star receiver also for the Eagles back in the day, for Randall Cunningham, like one of the best. Different guy. The Fred Barnett in our show has about 9 inches on him. But walked up, and Fred was so, not ready to, make this guy feel terrible that he's a different man. So he was like, oh, yeah, absolutely, thank you. And they shook hands. But I remember walking by, he goes, he thought you were the guy for the Eagles, right? And we just started laughing. So I'll never forget getting that ready, though. He was so happy to meet Fred Barnett. He grew up a huge Eagle fan. He didn't, but if he is watching right now or listening, that was a different guy.
Thrilled.
Sorry, just ruined that moment now for him. He's like, I based everything on that. I haven't washed my hand in 2 months. Looking at the okay, so are we doing the random wheel or is this a direct song?
Oh, are we still doing this? You want me to find? I found what? There's a bunch of the old ones that don't have drinking in it.
It's not. Can we try to find? I was saying if you spun a wheel of country songs of 100, we don't have that on the computer sitting there ready to go here. We didn't create that. Can you get on that? One of those Disney wheels? But if you create a wheel of songs and you spun it, there's a really, really, really good chance that song has some kind of drink in it.
Probably.
More than likely. My toes in the water and something in the sand too. You know, you got to get that.
Or my dog. Like I do agree with him though. Is a lot of the country nowadays is not. And listen, I know it's debatable. Things change. Well, same thing like the NFL is not the same like it used to be, and all baseball, whatever. I get that, but the old country that I grew up on, the old classic rock, things like that. Yeah. It's a mixture of, a lot of it's a mixture of pop now. It's just not.
A lot of that country also in the times we're in right now won't always be appropriate to mama. Like the old, some of the stuff. The words in some songs, it always changed. Not the ones you're talking about. You didn't grow up, but I remember like the 50s and 60s for all generations.
Why did you listen to 50s country?
Oh, I always go 50s pop. That's when I'm
50s
throwing
pop or country.
50s both pop and country.
Why?
Because that's when
was there pop back in the 50s?
Listen, when I do my Al Capone parties, you don't come.
No, I don't come to your Al Capone.
They have those. The Goldies. You didn't listen to the Goldies? Come on, man. Wow. You're not a Goldies fan. Can't believe you're not a Goldies fan. All right, looking at the right now NASCAR, is this how much do you feel right now that NASCAR has brought in a new audience, or the majority of people will go, I'm either going to watch NASCAR or not watch NASCAR when everything starts to get back to normal? Are they going to keep a lot of these new fans, or it's a different breed?
You're not going to keep all of them, but every sport's the same way. I mean, even when people that watch UFC aren't going to watch UFC once everything comes back. Some people will just pay attention to it because it's on. For NASCAR, I think they picked up some people just because of how good a job they've done. And I will say this, and I like NASCAR. I've watched it ever since I was little. And I just think, and this is coming from do I watch it all the time? No. But now, of course, I have. I think they've done a really good job. They have done a good job with no fans in the stands. All the information they keep throwing at you, just the different viewpoints and things like that. I think it's been really interesting. And there's people that a lot of people didn't even realize that, you go to Five Flags. You may go to Five Flags and not watch NASCAR, obviously. But I think people have realized that sport is there. And what I mean by that is with everything going on, we forget about some of these sports because we don't have time to watch them, or maybe a football game's on or a basketball game's on, or we'd be talking about baseball, because NASCAR basically hits in the middle of all those, everything with that. So you compete on a Sunday. Let's be honest, not a ton of people are probably watching the Xfinity race or the Craftsman Truck Series. They're my favorite, though. But anyway, I think for now they've gained a lot of people, and I think they'll keep some people because it's brought it back to light. It's made it obvious. I mean, everybody knows it's there, but you never truly sat down there and watched it.
I mean, I've enjoyed it. I haven't watched NASCAR consistently since now. I mean, I'm trying to take some positives because I would watch some of the races, but a lot of them fall on Sunday once football season got going, or once you started to get into the preseason even, or Major League Baseball were in the playoffs, or you had the NBA at one point during that time going through the playoffs, or March Madness. Didn't always get into it.
Well,
I'd watch the main ones.
It starts in February, and then it ends later on. So if you think February, the Super Bowl just ended, and then it starts up. Major League Baseball's getting going. NBA's going, getting ready for playoffs. NHL's going. So literally every sport is in between when NASCAR's on.
Yes. Sports like golf, NASCAR, tennis, they're going to fall on another sport no matter what. Let's go ahead and take a break if we can.
We'll try.
Let's go after that one. Let's see if this happens.
Pensacola's own NFL Hall of Famer Emmitt Smith has some tips for us during this time.
This fight is up to all of us to try to help bend that curve. It's going to take teamwork. It's going to take us to stay committed, stay focused, and stay dedicated to the mission at hand, and that is to keep everyone safe. So be encouraging. Find some support. Find someone to talk to every day to encourage them to keep on continuing in this fight. And we will beat this pandemic.
Hello, sports fans. Miles Bentley here, General Manager at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram in Pensacola. Growing up, I always loved sports. Nothing but net, out of the park, through the uprights. Sink the puck Bentley, that was me. But my love of the game couldn't beat my love for Pensacola and helping folks get on the road of dreams in a new Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Sure, I never went to the big leagues in sport, but we're all pro here at Hill Kelly Dodge Chrysler Jeep Ram. Proud to be in Pensacola.
Hear ye, hear ye.
I bringeth thee a message from him. A message from the king and his new trumpeter, Stephen. The king wishes me to convey his favor to thine team and thine tailgate. Not yet. He invites thee to let the Bud Light flow forth. And he also wishes me to tell thee that he toasts thee. Waiteth until the end, Stephen! With game day's favorite light lager and the slogan of his kingdom. Oh, dilly dilly. Enjoy responsibly. Bud Light Beer, AB, St. Louis, Missouri.
The teams, the games, the fans, the local talk. This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM.
I wasn't born for digging deep holes. I'm not made for paving long roads. I ain't cut out to climb highline poles, but I'm pretty good at drinking beer.
Well, this one clearly answers my question on that one.
Told him I would finish it out. All drinking songs.
Sorry.
Billy Currington. There you go.
What if somebody just rocked it out to non-alcoholics? Huh? St. Pauli's. I'm sitting on my porch with my O'Deals.
Just happy the bars can be back open.
Yeah. Got my keg of O'Deals and a drink in my hand.
You got a keg of O'Deals. Bless your heart. Just drink Coke or something.
Out on the water in a pontoon with my St. Pauli's girl.
No.
No, none of that.
No,
All right.
no.
No. All right. Let's go to some of the stuff right now. Jameis Winston will be a starting quarterback in 2021.
Cash it. Yes, I think he will be. I really
No, that
do.
wasn't a cash or smash it. Somebody
I
just
think
signed.
he will be the quarterback of the Jacksonville Jaguars.
It's not a cash or smash. That's a petition. I'm actually telling you, he's kind of.
All right.
Somebody's making it. It's a rule.
All right.
It's a new
Well,
rule.
there you go.
It's like that's. Who do you think? Who would you take right now? A little. Let's go. Some crossfire here. We got 1 minute, so let's do this. A crossfire. So you got to answer it quickly. Derrick Henry or Christian McCaffrey?
Oh, well, that's not.
Well,
but it depends.
No. Just you got. It doesn't matter. It
crud.
doesn't
You know
matter.
what?
You're
Well,
saying.
I'm going to be biased, and I'm going to say Derrick
Okay,
Henry.
I'll go with Henry with you as
love
well.
him.
I like him too. Okay. Brady right now, currently, Brady or Breeze?
Breeze.
He left us. Yes, I will too. Looking at Mahomes or Jackson?
Mahomes.
Mahomes for sure.
For sure.
Kittle or Kelsey?
Kelsey. I love Kittle, but Kelsey. Ooh.
He's bite-sized Kittle in this one. Michael Thomas or DeAndre Hopkins?
Yeah, Michael Thomas. He's a freak.
Okay. The Elders, Julio Jones or A.J. Green right now?
Oh, Julio.
Larry Fitzgerald?
Yes.
Just
Okay.
yeah, I was gonna
Just
say
Larry
yeah.
Fitzgerald. I don't care. Yes.
Who has a better chance to at one point be the number one fantasy guy, never be heard of again? David Johnson. And we'll tell you tomorrow when we come back. He wins.
probably
He
David
wins
Johnson.
anyway.
Yeah, there you
I was
go.
going to say, I realized at
Yeah.
that point he had won. Melvin Gordon, sorry, you didn't make the list. Thanks for joining us here today. That's all the time we have literally for the show. JP?
Yep.
God bless.
This is ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM and 99.1 FM, the only local station that talks sports 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. From Gullick and Wingo to the Sports Drive with Chad Brillante. Plus talk football with Coach K at noon, sports call every Saturday. If you'd like to partner with us as an advertiser or a promotional partner, just give us a call at 262-6000.
You're listening to ESPN Pensacola, 1330 AM, 99.1 FM. All sports, all the time. WEBY, Milton, Pensacola.
This is Spain and Company on ESPN Radio and on the ESPN app.
Welcome back to Spain and Company, ESPN Radio, ESPN app, Sirius XM Channel 80. We're presented by Progressive Insurance. Guests join us on the Shell Pennzoil Performance Line. Our next guest, certain to be interested in this news coming from ESPN's Jeff Passan MLBPA making a proposal to the MLB for a season of 89 games with a full prorated share of salary and expanded playoffs. It would bring the sides closer to a potential deal. It's 25 fewer than the union's last proposal of 114 games at full pro rata. Joining us now to talk about that and a story in which he expressed regret over not kneeling in the 2017 season, it's Indians outfielder Delino DeShields Jr. Delino, thanks for joining us.
Hey, thanks for having me.
Let's start quickly with that latest proposal. What's it like being a player and watching these proposals go back and forth like a tennis ball?
It's kind of frustrating, you know. I think, well, I know for a fact that, you know, the players didn't want to go out there and play, but, you know, also, you know, we feel like the Players Association, you know, they're working hard to do what's best for the players. So, you know, it's frustrating. You know, obviously we want to, this is our time for sports. And, you know, as much as I know a lot of guys are probably enjoying spending time with their families and stuff, but, you know, this is our life. This is what we get paid to do, something that we love to do. And, yeah, I tell you what, I'm really bored right now. You know, I'm not used to having all this downtime, but you know, every day I'm getting anxious, and you know, I feel like both sides are just being kind of stubborn. But I know, you know, they're trying to just do what's best for themselves. You know what I'm saying? Like,
right.
So as frustrating as it is, like, you know, it is what it is at this point. We've waited long enough. So, you know, if we got to keep waiting until they figure it out, then, you know, what's another couple weeks?
Yeah, right. And look, Delano, there's a ton we could talk about with that. But, you know, we also want to get to you opening up about regret you share from 2017 when then Oakland Athletics catcher Bruce Maxwell called you when you were then a member of the Texas Rangers on the heels of Donald Trump calling NFL players sons of bees for kneeling. He invited you to join him in kneeling during the national anthem. After conversations you had with a few people, including your parents, you ultimately decided it wasn't the right time to take that stand. Can you enlighten us on why in that moment you just didn't feel like it was what you wanted to do?
Well, Bruce, he called me, and he didn't he just told me what he was about that day, and he was just like, "Hey, don't feel pressure to do this. Like, but I just want you to know where I'm at right now, and I don't want you to feel like obligated to go out here and take a knee." And so, like, from that standpoint, I didn't feel pressured from him. You know what I'm saying? But just going out on the line and talking to my people, and you know, it just didn't. You know, this was my third year in the big leagues. You know what I'm saying? Like, I was a young kid, you know, still trying to make my way into the league. And then, you know, you look at players who were in the NFL, they were kind of losing their jobs. You know, some of them were. And that was kind of scary to think of, that I could potentially lose my job. Maybe, you know, if I don't know if it was because of the kneeling or not, but, you know, that was still a thought that went through my head. And, you know, I feel like in baseball, too, it's not a majority of African Americans in our sport. And, you know, it's hard to make that kind of statement, you know, in baseball because of that. You know, I feel like it's a lot easier for, you know, the NBA players to all come out wearing their shirts, or, you know, the NFL players, you know, taking their knee, because it's a predominantly black sport. And, you know, also with like playing in Texas, I had experience racism in Texas too, and you know, it just didn't feel right for me. You know, I wish at the time I was strong enough or bold enough, you know what I'm saying, to to just do it, because I felt like, you know, Bruce was isolated by himself. And, you know, when they came and played us in Texas, you know, hearing my fans boo, you know, my brother who is hurting and who is in pain, you know, about, you know, the stuff that's going around the country. It was just like I didn't, like, they didn't even notice that I even played for Texas. You know what I'm saying? Like, it was, I don't know, it made me sick to my stomach. Like, I didn't want to play that day. But, you know, I think my biggest regret is just kind of leaving him out there hanging. And, you know, me being one of the first players that he called and